Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here doing double duty, reacting to the loss to Brooklyn last night and also getting you ready for the game tonight against the Phoenix Suns here in Toronto, Scotiabank Arena tonight, 7:30. Right back at it. Wipe your mind of the in-season tournament bullshit and let's get back to work against the Suns. I'll start it off with the injury report. Don't worry, we're going to react to the game from last night, but I want to go ahead and do the preview for tonight first, just so everybody that wants to watch the preview stuff can watch it first. Then we can do all the reacting. I know this may be a long stream today. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to talk about as far as the in-season tournament and the way it all fell out last night and how it all went down. And yeah, really interesting, very interesting stuff. I have some very strong opinions on things. All right, let's start with the injury report. The Raptors have the same injury report as yesterday. Marquise Noel, day to day. Christian Coloco out, respiratory illness. That's it. Nobody's listed. I don't see Dennis's name on here from his knee injury last night. So I have no idea if Dennis may be added this afternoon. That's a possibility, because of the way he banged his knee last night and had to put it on ice, and we weren't sure if he's going to come back in. So I would watch for the injury news coming out of Raptors camp, possibly to say Dennis Schroeder might be a game time decision. We'll have to see. On the other side, there are significant injuries for the Suns right now. Of course, Bradley Beal has been out for a bit. He has a lower back strain. He has not played a whole lot for the Suns since he got traded there. Damian Lee is out. He had a surgery on his right meniscus, and he'll be out for the time being for a while. Nasir Little is out for today's game due to personal reasons. Maybe he doesn't like coming to Toronto. I don't know. Grayson Allen is ill, and he is questionable for today's game against the Raptors. And then finally, our friend, the old snake, Kevin Durant, questionable for today's game. It's his foot. Yeah, so it could be that Kevin's not playing today. We'll have to see. Grayson Allen maybe not playing too. They're an interesting lineup. You know, I feel like in some ways the Suns might be getting punished by the NBA because their owner went and did that big deal to get Bradley Beal, because in some ways they're not getting favor certain ways like some of the other teams are these days. And it's very interesting to see. Devin Booker will be healthy and returning to the Scotiabank Arena tonight. So, Monique, I know you want to get some get back against him for the grudge with the Raptor. Yusuf Nurkic, of course, their new center with the swap with Portland. So we will see Nurkic and Booker, the only two starters for sure, playing today. We'll see if Allen and Durant show up. Otherwise, they've got a backup guard, Jordan Goodwin, who's on my fantasy team, who's been killing it. Eric Gordon is a son, and he can be a problem, especially with what we've been doing with three-point shooters that just step up and hit shots to kill us, like Max Strus and Royce O'Neal. Yeah, there's a problem. We need to watch Eric Gordon tonight. That's for sure, because it seems like that is the type of player that's killing us right now. Drew Eubanks is their backup center. They got Keita Bates-Diop, Josh Okogie. Yuta Watanabe will be returning to the Raptors arena tonight. So give a warm welcome to Yuta, but maybe we don't do a welcome back video or anything like that. Chimizi Metu is another player they've got. Duka Azubuki, Saban Lee, and Bol. That's kind of the lineup for the Phoenix Suns. Listen, they've won 7 straight games. They're rolling. They had a tough start to the year, losing twice to the Spurs, and they've lost both their games to the Lakers so far they played this year. They are currently 11-6, and they've reeled off 7 straight wins. And they've been wins against mostly Western teams. Now, we need to beat them and end this win streak. What did we do last year, Raptors? We were streak busters. We would bust up some good win streaks last year, so I want to do it again. Phoenix is on a 7-game win streak, so let's kick their ass tonight. I mean, seriously, y'all feel pissed about how things went last night? Was it frustrating for you dealing with Ed Malloy and his ref hit job bullshit? Yeah, we'll take it out on the Suns tonight is what I'm saying, y'all. Move on and forward. This is the one thing I will say to the Raptors right now is stay present. There's so much bullshit happening to y'all. Yeah, you could get upset and get angry, but staying present, keeping your head down and keep on going to the next play will get you there in a winning way. And right now, we got to stay present. We're forget about last night, and we're going forward to play the Phoenix Suns tonight because that is the most important thing that Raptors Nation should be thinking about right now is a Phoenix Suns game today. Yeah, we're going to talk about the game last night. I'm not going to gloss over it, but in some ways, if you want to be like me, you stay present. You forget about the loss last night, and you take the opportunity to get a win tonight against the Phoenix Suns. That's right. Our referee crew for tonight is very favorable. I wish we'd had these guys last night. Holy crap, that would have been so much better. We are getting our crew chief tonight for the first time this year is Bill Kennedy in his 27th season out of Phoenix, Arizona. Ooh, he is from Phoenix, but I'll tell you what, he's not going to favor the Suns because he's a good ref. And also because he favors us. He actually does. His favorite musician is Luther Vandross. He would like a filet mignon with a good bottle of red. He'd most like to visit Jerusalem. Maybe not right now, Bill Kennedy. And his bucket list is to see the Egyptian pyramids. Hidden talent, karaoke. That's right. Bill Kennedy is one of our favorite refs. He's a cool guy. Kennedy's charitable efforts include working with former NBA official Tommy Nunez and running the National Hispanic Basketball Classic to help raise money for inner city youth. He also works with the Boys and Girls Club. He's a saint. That's what we're saying right here. He's a saint. Bill Kennedy's record with us is quite good. We win 56% of our games when Bill is around. It was higher before. It went down last season. And meanwhile, the Suns only win 48%. So the split with Bill Kennedy, crew chief today, is 56-48 for the Raptors. The second ref today is Nick Booker. We've seen him recently as a second ref in games. He's in his 15th season out of Orlando, Florida. He went to University of Phoenix. Don't worry about that. That's an online course. Let's see. For favorite TV show, Game of Thrones, and also likes Walking Dead. Favorite movie is Gladiator. Favorite musician, David Gray. Favorite book, October Sky. He would also like a steak. He'd most like to visit Rome, and his bucket list is to attend the Super Bowl. Nick Booker's interests include traveling, cooking, working out, and biking. He's an avid wine collector and has more than 500 bottles in his wine cellar. So he's into that wine stuff. Now, Nick Booker is actually the best ref for us today. Bill Kennedy's great, but Nick Booker's even better. We won the last game he refereed for us this season. We win 63% of our games with Nick Booker present. Meanwhile, the Suns only win 45%. So 63-45 is the split for the second ref, Nick Booker. The third ref is young Danica Mosier. Danica Mosier is 30, and she's in her third season as a referee in this league. Let's see. She went to University of Central Florida. Her favorite TV show is Friends. And her favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Her favorite musician is Justin Timberlake. Her favorite meal is oxtail. She'd most like to visit Thailand, and her bucket list is to own a cat cafe. Danica Mosier holds a bachelor's degree in biology and nursing from the University of Central Florida. She was also a standout basketball player at Freeport High School in Florida. She got her start as a referee working intramural games at Central Florida. Now, Danica is the worst ref for us, but honestly, this is really interesting. She's barely refed us. She is in the bottom 5 of refs for us in the league. We only win 29% of our games when she's around. 29%. That's horrible. I think we're like 2-5 with her as a ref. And meanwhile, the Suns have never had her ref a game for them ever. This will be her debut refereeing a Suns. Oh, no, wait. She has ref 3 Suns games. Sorry. Correction. And they've lost all 3. So they're 0-3. So the split technically with Danica Mosier is 29-0. 29-0. Neither team's winning with Danica around. They're 0-3 and we're 2-5. So yeah, there's your ref crew. They all technically favor the Raptors. Maybe we'll see a lot nicer whistle. And you know what? Let me talk about last night right now. That was totally a ref hit job. If you can really, really see between the lines with how Ed Malloy was running that game, with how he did not call any fouls for most of the game, and then he started calling shit in the fourth quarter and putting the Nets on the line way more often than us to help carry them with points at the end of the game. It really is this kind of thing where they really make unfair calls. You saw how mad Scotty was getting last night. He'd go to the basket and he'd get hit and he'd flail his arms and he'd yell and he'd be like, why do you not call that? Scotty, you got to understand that this is just how unfair the NBA is. And you got to beat that. You know, there is very well known among the league that, listen, if you're going to beat a team that they want to win, the referees are trying to help, you have to kill them by 15. That's the problem you're not getting, bro. You can't just cruise and try and just slightly beat them. You've got to kick their ass wholly and get such a lead that Ed Malloy can't do anything about it, and you beat the Nets. That's the problem here. You're doing just enough, but no, not when you have 8 on 5. You have to beat them by a lot more, and you cannot rely on them to give you a whistle. You really, really cannot. So, you know, that's part of the war when you go in to play the Nets in a game like last night is it's a psychological war, because Ed Malloy and the refs are going to make you feel like you're getting cheated. And then you can get in your head and you can get all upset and you'll mess up your defensive assignment at the other end of the court. And all of a sudden the other team is building a lead on you. You've got to fucking get mentally stronger, Scotty. In fact, in the last 2 games, you have been the big problem why we've lost to Cleveland and last night to the Nets. Your plus minus is the worst. You're a minus 22 last night, minus 22 on Sunday night. And that is the worst one out of all the Raptors. And the reason why is you're not mentally in the game. You're fucking around out there. You're not checked in. You are not doing the things that you need to do that add up to winning. And some of it is getting too caught up with the referees. Yeah, some of it is that. There's a lot to parse out about the game last night with the Brooklyn Nets, the IST game. Very much the whole in-season tournament thing. You know, they had those commercials with DeMar and Julius Randle and Darius Garland, and Draymond is a security guard. And, you know, it likens to the Ocean's 11 series with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and how they had a very elaborate heist of a casino with a lot of moving parts, a lot of different people doing different roles to make sure it goes off without a hitch. Well, that's a very good analogy and a very good presentation for what the fucking league was doing last night with trying to write the script for the 8 teams that are going to go to Vegas or go into the next round of this end-season tournament. I'm telling you right now, it's fishy as fuck how they made it get to Boston going. They really, really made a priority to get Boston to go to the Vegas, to go to the next part. And even on a bonus mission, they made it so the Knicks got there too. That's the wet dream of Adam Silver and the NBA head office. Got to make sure the Celtics get through. Oh my gosh, they were in a lot of danger not to. And a lot of it was contingent on our game, y'all. Yeah, the Magic Nation was rooting for us heavy last night. And I apologize to Orlando Magic Nation that we didn't get the job done and kick the shit out of the Nets so that the Celtics would lose the group and y'all would be going to the next round. It pisses me off. We tried in a lot of ways, but we didn't try hard enough. We could have done it. We could have done it if our guys had just played mentally better, stronger, and tried harder. Once again, we had a game where nobody on our team scored 20 points. It's fishy as fuck, y'all. It's really fishy. There was a lot of parallels to the Cleveland game and the game last night. It is fishy. They needed a certain margin in the Celtics game to get to the next round, and they were cheating and doing all kinds of crazy shit in their game to do it. Fouling the hell out of Andre Drummond with tons of time on the clock, and they're up by 20 already. Yeah, that's messed up, and it's going to really screw her with the game and the old way of being respectful with teams. The end season tournament is causing all kinds of screwy shit. And I'm telling you right now, NBA, you think you're slick. But yeah, we can see your WWE booking and the way you use the referees to write the script. And boy, Adam Silver was happy. He got his Boston Celtics into the next round. They manipulated the hell out of the night last night in multiple games in different places, just like that Ocean's 11 movie, to make this shit happen the way they wanted to. Our eyes are wide open. We can see this shit, Ed Malloy. You fuck. We see what you're doing when you take foul away from Gary Trent at the beginning of the game. We see when you change your own fucking call at the challenge table because Sikakis told you that the ball was actually still going up in an arc on a shot by Pascal Siakam. It was originally called a goaltend. These are all little point shaving little shit kind of things. And then you add in Mr. Whammy underneath the basket and our Raptors shooting their fucking dumbass free throws the way they do. Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. The Nets are not that good. And honestly, we own them and we should destroy them the next time we play them. But if they're going to get help from the refs in every single kind of way, yeah, it's going to be much harder to beat them, Scotty. And you're going to have to fucking act like you're playing against 8 instead of 5. You can't be casual about this. You can't let the refs are not your friends, bro. They're not going to bail you out with whistles. They will not do it. And you need to fucking just convert. That's the biggest problem with the Raptors last night. I can say the refs handled things. They guided things. Let's just put it. They guided things. But the Raptors, it's in your control to win it. It was close enough at the end that y'all needed to convert more and make these shots near the basket. What the fuck was that in the last couple minutes of the game? You had so many opportunities near the basket with layups practically that just did not fall in. That's fucking missing layups and missing free throws or missing free points. And y'all could have had a way better margin so that Malloy couldn't fucking steal this game from y'all, but you didn't convert enough. That's the big word. It's converting. It's not trying to get contact to get the whistle. It's not trying to just fuck around down there and just do funny stuff. No, it's making sure that it goes through the basket. It's converting. Y'all need to fucking make that ball go through the hoop and the net because that's all that matters is converting. Convert your free throws. Convert your layups. Convert your three-pointers that are open. You know, Scotty, you missed a layup. How embarrassing is that right at the end of the game? That's why y'all need to work on your fundamentals because your fundamentals aren't tight. And when you play in tough situations like this, your fundamentals are the best thing to rely on to get you there to the promised land in a good way. You don't have your shit tight with fundamentals, you'll make mistakes in high-pressure games that are unfair where the referees are trying to make the other team win. This is the thing. It's common knowledge. You can go listen to Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells talk about it in podcasts today. The referees, when they decide they want a certain team to win, that other team has to win by 15 or they will not have a chance to win. It's not fair. It is not fair. Y'all are 10 times more talented than the Brooklyn Nets, and you have the ability to do this. That's why our team has to be so badass. Because on certain nights, Ed Malloy is going to come in there with a directive from the NBA and say, we need you to help the Celtics get to the next round. You have to hurt the Raptors and make sure they lose to the Nets. Because if they beat the Nets, the Magic are going to the next round. It's as simple as that. It's so fucking fishy. I was going to say, man, if Sacramento had not come back last night and beaten the Warriors by 1 and taken care of business on their side of things, I was going to say it's rigged for the Warriors too. That's the biggest market, one of the most popular teams in the league. The NBA would love to write the script that the Warriors got the second round. Well, no. The Kings spoiled that shit, and they fucking made their ticket go through, rightfully so, because they deserve to go the next round and not the Golden State Warriors. So, yeah, it's a lot to parse out. There's a lot there. And now we have these 2 games that they dropped in our lap overnight last night for next week. We know the identity of our 2 games. Next Wednesday, the Miami Heat will come to Scotiabank Arena and play us on the 6th. And then next Friday, we are going to Charlotte to play the Hornets. Those are the 2 mystery games that have been filled into our schedule for next week. Miami coming to visit us next Wednesday. And then next Friday, we go to Charlotte to play them. And on the sandwich around is 2 New York Knicks games. One this Friday coming up, and then one on the other side of those 2 other games. Very interesting how everything shook out so quickly, and they put that 8-team playoff bracket up quick, and they got that schedule together real quick for games. So, yeah, let's check in on the comments with you guys. Yeah, a lot to talk about. Whatever you guys want to talk about specifically, that's basically my take on the game last night, what I just said. Monique is saying, good morning, everyone. Happy game day. Happy game day to you, Monique Lawrence. That's right. We got to try and bounce back after some bullshit last night. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, Scotty. But this is the thing. You got to be that much more powerful to overcome all the bullshit. People just know this. It's just part of the NBA culture at this point. Referees be cheating. They're going to help one of the other teams. If you're the team that's not the team they're going to help, then you need to be so much more better and perfect, and then you have a chance to beat them. Otherwise, they're going to help the other team as much as possible to get their W. That's just how it is. Monique is saying, got to be better yet again. Oh, yeah. I don't blame the refs for manipulating the game because they did. But also, I'm going to blame our guys for not converting. That's a big, big problem. You got to convert layups. You got to convert free throws. Too many missed free throws once again. And this shit matters. It all adds up. They won by a lot at the end, but that was because at some point we're just like, whatever, the game's over. We're done. But we were hanging with them that whole time. And you could talk about the point, Shaven, of taking away a take foul, which is honestly a free throw and the ball. And that could have meant something. That 2 points that Siakam got off the goaltend, there were a couple times where the Nets shot 3-pointers and their foot was actually on the line. They took one back and made it a 2. But there was one later that Cam Johnson shot that probably should have shaved the point off of them too. Yeah, there's all kinds of different ways where you can see where they're either taking points away from us or they're handing points to them. And we need to be that much better. We are a way better team than the Brooklyn Nets. We definitely are. I can tell from the way we're handling them last night. It's just they need help. They need help, and they got a lot of help last night. Trust me, they really did. Let's see. Most saying, got to be better yet again. End of the second quarter was brutal. The fourth quarter was awful, where it was down the stretch. Yeah, the run at the end before the halftime was really bad because they just started to get going and they got scoring. We were doing really good defensively for most of the game. And in the first half, we had them down at like 35 points with very few minutes to go in the first half. But they went on a little spurt in the last couple minutes of the second quarter that absolutely hurt us. We had a lead and they ate it up. And then they even took a lead into halftime in that little bit of time. And that sucked. That sucks so bad. But that's like just why you have to be so on top of things defensively all the time. And once again, it's these lineups where we put out some of the bench people with Scotty, and it just looks horrible. It looks horrible. They're not collective. They're not connected. They're not playing right. They're doing stupid shit, like dumb stuff. It's really annoying. It is super annoying. So I don't know. Those lineups are pissing me off. Scotty in the bench, definitely. Jimmy's here. Good to see the Pope of positivity. I want to hear some positivity this morning. Spacing is terrible. I'm getting genuinely annoyed. Bad clutch decisions and terrible defense late. Need to be better to win in this league. Yeah, I don't know. Spacing, it's not really what's catching my eye on this. The bad clutch decisions are, though. That's something that is really really bad. Like, honestly, y'all need to be smarter and play more ethical, smart, kind of like high percentage, no mistake kind of basketball. There's just too many dumb little, really dumb mistakes that just don't need to happen. And also, sometimes these guys are passing it. Like there was a time when Siakam should have went up with the ball and he passed it again to Jakob. And I'm like, dude, you were open. Sometimes they're still reading it wrong and they're giving an extra pass when they should actually be taking the ball up. Now, this is the thing. The refs are not calling any fouls on the Nets. They can hack us and hit the hell out of us every single time. And that's a big part of the reason why we're not converting, is because they're getting hammered and they're messing the shot up so it doesn't go in. And they're not getting whistles called on them. There was a lot of physicality allowed by the ref crew last night. They did not call hardly any fouls for most of the game. And then all of a sudden they got touchy near the end of the game. Yeah, that's that'll fuck with your mind. If you're out there and they're allowing the other team to hack the shit out of you and you just fucking touch them late in the game and they fucking call a foul on you. Yeah, that's why all the Raptors, if you were watching last night, are pointing at one court and then they're saying that end of the court. They're saying basically to the refs, you can call it down there if you're calling this right now here, is basically what these guys were saying all night to these referees. And rightfully so, because there was a little bit of a call, not calling anything, letting it be physical as hell and letting them hit the hell out of us. And then late, all of a sudden they got a whistle on some shit. Yeah, shady. The other thing was Ed Malloy put them in the bonus early. He wanted to make sure, this is the thing that part of the ref manipulation is very intricate. is that they try and get the fouls right in the second half, so the bonus comes early for the team they want to favor, so that they can feed them free throws early and often. And that's a lot of what happened. I mean, shit. The Nets had shot like 4 free throws by halftime last night. And by the end of the game, how many free throws did they have at the end of the game? They shot 26 free throws by the end of the game. So you fucking tell me that it's kind of like changing the water from hot to cold all of a sudden. Woo! It's like refs aren't calling shit. Refs aren't calling shit. You can hack, you can do whatever. Okay, you can do that. All of a sudden at the end, the whistle gets a lot more frisky. It starts whistling all of a sudden. You've been playing a certain way all night already. Yeah, it's hard to adjust. And that's the way a subtle ref manipulation can be happening, is changing the level of contact for the whistle to go and changing it at the end up, so that if there is a little bit of contact, all of a sudden the Nets are getting fed free throws over and over again. It doesn't matter if Brooklyn's making their shots. If Ed Malloy's going to put them on the line quite often, look at that play where OG should have got a jump ball. They called that a foul all game. That was just tying it up, and it's a jump ball, guys. Ed Malloy loves jump balls, fuck face. Well, that was not a foul on OG. That was the same kind of play as all the other ones, but they decided to give it a foul. And look what happens. Nets get free throws, just extra point chances like that. Telling you, lots of heavy ref manipulation in the game. And that's really because Ed Malloy had one mission last night: to help the Celtics get to the next round by helping the Nets beat us. I'm telling you, next time these guys need to understand what they're up against a lot more when they come in. And you got to be that much better, Scott. You can't spend time whining to the refs. They're not your friends. They're not going to help you. You need to go just do this shit and beat them all 8 of your opponents. All 8 of them. You got to beat all of them. Let's see. Jimmy's saying the one dude hitting threes they let relocate and get easy looks. Like, come on. Why are we putting OG in the post when no one can shoot around him? Of course, they're going to triple team. Yeah, listen, Royce O'Neal was a real problem last night. It was really annoying. This guy's been hot from 3, and we kept losing him, and he was hitting these threes. They were really, really key to help Brooklyn score points. They were having trouble scoring points. OG was doing a good job. We were playing really good defense. We were stymieing them. We were doing so good. I love our defense. In fact, it's such a strength. And we really, really do have a really good defense. It's just that all the other things are stacked against us that makes it really hard for us to win. Really, really hard for us to win. You have to have that will to go against the refs and the other team, Raptors. You really, really need to. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors. Happy Raptors family. Happy game day. Happy game day to you, Trevor J. Thanks for going to the game last night. And hopefully you got loud and cheered them on. And I'm sure you did. Let's see. Trevor saying, I had a great time at the game with all my friends. No matter we lose, I'm still a Raptors fan. Brooklyn fan try to troll us saying the Raptors suck. Well, of course, they're going to talk a little trash. They're not classy. That's the Brooklyn way. They're not classy. They need cheating from the head office that's located in their city. And, there's a lot of fucking favoritism for New York. You see, they, as a side bonus last night, they ended up managing to let the Knicks get to the next round. And that just makes Adam Silver get a boner. Let's just put it that way. Oh, the Knicks got to the next round. It is so fucking biased. In some ways, they're going to be biased towards the Nets more than the Knicks now because they fucking hate James Dolan, but they still want to support a New York team. So the Nets do get some favoritism. They really, really do. It's bullshit. They had those towels saying the Brooklyn way. Well, the Brooklyn way is a mafia, stupid ass way of cheating and having the refs paid off and fucking helping y'all. That's what the Brooklyn way is, you bitches. All right, let's see. Jimmy Pope is saying, but on a positive note, we ain't the Pistons. Laughed my ass off. Just got to put the puzzle together, and I still got faith. These losses that were very winnable frustrate me. Well, Jimmy, does it help that I'm telling you that these refs are not trying to let us win these games? That they really are trying to guide things in manipulative underlying ways? I mean, seriously, watch that game last night with your eyes open. You'll see what Ed Malloy was doing. I think it's hilarious that he overturned his own call. I was like, wait a second. He called that goaltend that Siakam made. That was a goaltend. That ball was on its way back down when Claxton blocked it. They had the right call. Ed Malloy called it right. And then they challenged by the Nets they go over there, and Ed Malloy's looking at it. I'm like, man, he made that call. Is he going to overturn his own call? Because he's an egomaniac. He won't like doing that. And he looked at it and he's watching it. And I could tell this is what happened. Secaucus was on there saying you need to overturn it in the favor of the Nets. If you're trying to help Brooklyn win, you need to do this because that's 2 points. And it'll also deflate the Raptors and make it feel like y'all are cheating and that they don't have a chance. So that's part of it. It's a war of the spirit. They really do try and make our guys feel deflated so that they don't have the energy to get up and go at it. Does that make you feel like more proud of our guys that they still come with this crazy ass defensive effort and busting their ass when they know they're in a situation that's absolutely unfair and at every turn they're finding like bullshit happening to them? That makes me so proud of the Raptors. The way that they give an effort and play their ass off most of the entire game, even though they know the odds are stacked against them. And Malloy turns around and said, no, challenge successful. I was laughing because I was pretty sure Jacques Vaughn was going to lose that challenge because Ed Malloy's so cocky. But no, Ed Malloy knows who his boss is. And that's Secaucus, that's Adam Silver, that's the NBA. And you got to eat it, Ed. You were wrong. That wasn't goaltending. The challenge successful. And then fucking, what the fuck? That's what I'm saying. They shaved 2 points from Siakam on that play. They shaved 2 points from him right there. Yeah, in some ways, there are worse levels to be, like the Pistons. Oh, yeah, Jimmy. You know, that's the thing. Let's look at bright spots. We still are a very badass team, and we're still destined to win a lot this year, and we're still destined to do good things. Once again, overreactors are going to see just the result of an L. They're going to see maybe some of the stuff that was embarrassing last night, and they're going to overreact and say we suck and say that we're horrible. That's not the truth. In these last 2 games against the Nets and the Cavs, we dominated these teams, and we rightfully should have beat them if there wasn't some weird-ass manipulation, and then also us shooting ourselves in the foot with some sloppy bad play also. So, listen, we're a good team. I'm really excited about our team, and in fact, some of the things we did last night were very, very good. Very, very good. And honestly, people are going to try and see it in a bad light, and they're going to try and say, oh, I'm crazy and all this. But remember, they want us to break this shit up before we get successful because they're scared as hell about what we're cooking with Barnes, Anunoby, and Siakam right now. They're scared as hell. That's why trade them. Masai, you should be fired. They're saying all this stuff because they're overreacting in the negative because they're hoping we'll overreact as a franchise. And we really don't. We're on the right path. We got the right guys. And they just want to fucking gaslight us into destroying our team before we actually get good. So don't listen to them. And even our own fans that are so stupid that they don't understand what's going on, that are kind of like, oh, they suck. They suck. Why doesn't Masai just trade everybody and start over? Don't listen to them either because they're just parroting the people that hate us, what they want us to do. And they're sheep and they're stupid. And they don't fucking understand that the way that we are building and creating is good. We're getting towards something. It's not a pointless road that we're walking down right now. There's a lot of really good things down the road if we continue on this road. But they want us to break it up before we get there. And any of y'all fans that are parroting that or saying that are real Raptors fans, just stop. You're not helping the team. Masai's trying to build something here, and he is on the right path. You may think it isn't because the losses that have been happening, but no, these are really good losses. And these are losses that are mandated by the NBA. If you don't fucking see that, you just don't understand. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, and those jumping closeouts need to stop. Laugh my ass off. I hate seeing Scotty fly by Royce O'Neal. It's so stupid. Like, why are you running right by him? Seriously, just run up to him and stop. You don't have to go so fast at him and run right by him. It's so dumb because then he just steps to the side and he hits a 3. Yeah, the running closeouts are stupid. I agree with this, Jimmy. And seeing him just go flying by and then out of bounds and like he's out of the play, it's stupid. Fucking tone it down, Scott. Run at him. Do your little scream. Go, ah, like that. And fucking that may be enough. You don't need to run right by him and go out of bounds. And then all of a sudden Royce is hitting a 3 because he sidestepped you. So dumb. In some ways, they're really not smart playing by Scott. He's not playing intelligently. He's playing kind of half-assed. There was that one play where he got 2 shots from 3, and he's so lazy about it. Dude, you didn't try and work the ball in or anything. You just settled for the three. You shot it. You were short. It went short. Jakob or somebody got the offensive rebound, threw it right back out to you, and you didn't even move. You just shot it again. You shot exactly the same way you did before. It looked the laziest fucking offensive bullshit, but in a lazy fucking way. Scotty, stop being lazy and start working that ball in the paint. What did y'all say before the game yesterday? We need to get paint touches. We need to bully ball them. We need to go down low. Then why did they outscore us in the paint? And why did y'all not go to the paint in the whole entire first half? You didn't start going in the paint until the second half. Like, what the fuck? I thought y'all had a game plan to bully ball them down low. Well, why the fuck weren't y'all getting down low then? And why were y'all settling for threes instead? You know, that's the thing. You got to stick to your game plan. You can't let them dictate what you're going to do. You want to fucking go down there and make little babies down in the, like, beat them up, Scotty. Go down there and just kick their ass. You know, I don't know what you're doing out there. You're wasting your time is what you're doing out there. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Let's see. Monique saying Gary and Chris get my love, and Dennis for pushing through that knee, as I said. All right. Monique is alluding to her stars, which are the same stars for me. My number one star is Gary Trent Jr. last night. I really was impressed with Gary off the bench last night. 7 of 12 shooting. So he doesn't have to start. 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. But still, that's a paltry line to be our number one star of the game. We need these guys to score to 20. Why are you guys not getting to 20? I mean, I see 6 guys in double digits and nobody got to 20 again. That's 2 games in a row that no Raptor achieved 20 points in the game. And there's something wrong with that when you guys got guys like Barnes and Siakam on this team. That's a big mistake. But I did really like seeing Gary in the mid-range, really. Like, he was really successful with these mid-range pops and carrying us and scoring a lot at different times. I was really happy to see Gary get success. And that's why he's my number one star of the game. My second star of the game is Schroeder. Schroeder got hurt at some point. It's not that Schroeder shot terribly well. He was 5 of 15. He did make 2 out of 5 threes. I like that. He did miss 1 free throw. It was a really dumb technical that he should have made. But he had 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers. It's a 9 assist to no turnover ratio. A -2 with 14 points. You know, Dennis could have scored more, but I like the assist to turnover ratio. I liked his gutsiness. He's out there being a leader. He's trying to do stuff. And you can see Gary and Dennis were carrying us with scoring for times when really Siakam and Barnes and Anunoby should have been stepping up and scoring for us instead of those guys. But Schroeder and Gary were trying to carry at different times in the game when the other guys were disappearing. The third guy is Boucher. Boucher came in off the bench. So it's funny. We got 2 out of 3 the players are from the bench in my stars and not more starters. Boucher, 5 of 7, 3 of 4 from 3. He was awesome from three-point land. Only 1 rebound, steal, and 13 points, a +8. You know, this is the thing. Our 3 stars of the game scored 15, 14, and 13 points. That's just not enough. That's just not enough. But Boucher was awesome. You could tell he's playing with joy, and he really was a shot in the arm when he came in. The funny thing is that it seemed like he wasn't going to play Boucher until Precious got in foul trouble. And then all of a sudden, Boucher had to come in there. And boy, were we glad in some ways that Precious got in foul trouble, because Boucher was a real, as I said, shot in the arm and really gave us some good stuff. So there's my 3 stars of the game. Gary, Dennis, and Chris. And yeah, none of those fucking main names should have been, one of them should have been on that list for sure, at least. Holy crap. Trevor J saying, that fan got me so upset when he said to me the Raptors suck. So I told him his daddy sucks for wishing his sperm. What? I don't totally understand that, Trevor. But hey, listen, it's not worth it to engage with these people. Seriously, in some ways, they're miserable fucks in a lot of ways themselves. You know, Brooklyn Nation has never won a championship. They're really kind of a pathetic, kind of sad fan nation. Honestly, they only got better because they went to Brooklyn. They would have the New Jersey Nets history, and that's absolutely sad and depressing. Trust me. Jimmy's saying, yeah, thank God Dennis is okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, there may be some news today where he may not. He's the kind of guy that he's going to play hurt. If he can fucking walk, he will show up. So I don't know. In some ways, some of the other guys may be like hurt as he is, and they will sit. So we'll see if Dennis is available today. Right now, he's not on the injury list. So hopefully he'll be all right later. Fiercely saying, "Good morning, fam. Happy Wednesday." I'm not panicking. I can understand Darko's trying different combinations, but the bench is too inconsistent, even erratic at times. Developing on the fly is hard. Yeah, and honestly, it's not the bench development that's screwing us up right now. It's Scotty's development. It's Scotty's development. If he's going to be a primary guy, he's going to be a main person with the ball. He's got to be more careful with the ball. He's got to stop making dumb mistakes and playing out of his head. He needs to play more within his head and being smart. And honestly, that's what I was telling myself in the last two games, the game that we lost to Cleveland on Sunday and the game last night, that Scotty's development is what's fucking us up to win right now. And it's on a higher level than what his development's fucking us up before. You know, a year ago, it would be him and Koloko would be out in the court at the same time, and there'd be too many rookie mistakes, too much fuck ups on defense because Koloko was too green and Scotty was playing kind of reckless and not playing smart. The youth on the court will always allow or happen for mistakes to happen, like stepping out of bounds, traveling, dumbass, like just bad rookie mistakes. And part of it is, it's not that Scott's making rookie mistakes right now. It's more that he's making mistakes at another level because he's now a superstar and somebody who's going to have to take over games. But he has to make the development and rookie mistakes at that level of being that type of player also. And there's going to be some losing in Scotty learning what it takes to win in the NBA if he's going to be one of our main guys who carries. And that's part of the problem right here. It's very similar to like Scotty in the last 2 years disappearing for like most of the game and then playing one big, huge quarter. Well, now he's playing more consistent over the whole entire game, but he's got to realize the level that he has to play at consistently to add up to getting W's. And he is the key to this. These games that are close with Brooklyn and Cleveland both could have been won if Scotty was more advanced as a takeover kind of superstar kind of guy. And he cleans his shit up, he'll be way, way better. And we will win games like this. They're close like this. So it's not even the development of the bench. Sure, we could say Precious was ugly last night and he played bad and it really hurt us. But it's not even the development of the bench. It's the development of Scotty that is holding us up right now. And he has to go through this. It's just like Siakam had to go through shit before. Anunoby's gone through shit before. It's just a rite of passage and just a way that players develop. And well, Scott needs to get it to click in his head and understand what I'm trying to describe right now so that he can get past it and understand how he can play better and more perfect to allow for us to win in these kind of games. And that's really what it is. I wouldn't even say it's the bench's development this time because Malachi was fantastic. Honestly, Malachi, I was really proud of you last night. That fake that you did for that layup was awesome. And then the confidence of the way you shot that three a little bit later was fantastic. In some ways, you really, really impressed me by your aggression and your effectiveness in those ways. That's the kind of shit I've been wanting from you, Malachi, is to fuck him up street ball style. You know, that fake was so beautiful the way you went around them and got that layup. We need more of that kind of shit. And I know you have it, but still, you're still high dribbling it up near your head. And I hate that. And I hate that so much. Oh my God, I hate the high dribble so much. All right. So yeah, let me go over these guys a little more nitpicky. Pascal, you know, double, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, a minus 14, 6 of 18, 0 for 4 from 3, 5 of 7 at the free throw line. You know, I really wish he was hitting his threes better. That would really help us if he was more dialed in his threes. His 3-point shooting has been awful this year. And then, you know, missing 2 free throws. Honestly, Mr. Whammy was a factor. I kind of wish I hadn't brought him up in the stream yesterday morning because he came out there and he was underneath the basket. Did you see him with his goofy ass glasses and is like, meow, meow. Yeah, that shit actually can work to a degree. I mean, it at least worked on Precious, him shooting 1 for 4 at the free throw line. Siakam missing 2 free throws. Schroeder missed a free throw and Scotty missed a free throw too. But it really wasn't free throws as much this time, even though we were only 63% at the line. 7 missed free throws. That's 7 points right there. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Oh my gosh, Raptors, stop shooting yourselves in the foot at the free throw line. OG, he didn't score until like the third quarter. He was really tying up Mikal Bridges, and he's doing a good job. Honestly, defensively, OG was fantastic last night. But on the offensive side, he just was kind of quiet. 4 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6 from three. I love those threes when he makes them. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, minus 14 with 10 points. Only 10 points from OG. Scotty, 5 of 19. Really bad shooting for Scott last night. Some of those were really close shots, too, which really makes me infuriated. You got to take your time down low and use your strength and just muscle it in, Scott. You're rushing when you're near the basket and trying to put it in too quick. You could learn some things from Chris in this area as far as how to finish with contact and people around you hitting you right close to the basket. Christopher's really good at this. And in some ways, you need to get with him and let him teach you some stuff. The 3 of 7 from three. I do like this. Scotty made a few threes. They were really nice. 4 offensive rebounds were awesome with 11 rebounds altogether. He had a double-double too. 6 assists with 1 turnover. That's pretty good. 3 steals. A minus 22, though, with 17 points. That's what I'm telling you, man. He can have a stat stuff in game and play pretty well overall, like a great assist to turnover ratio, 3 3-pointers made, a ton of offensive rebounds. But that minus 22 plus minus tells me that he's not playing smart on getting back on defense. He's complaining the refs too much. It tells me that he's allowing the other team to get easy baskets while he's on the floor. And this is what's happening. In some ways, Scotty, you're a defensive leader. And if you're down at the end of the court talking to Ed Malloy about a call you should have gotten, instead of getting back and they're coming back and hitting an open three or an easy layup, that's a problem. And this has been a problem your whole career where you don't get back on defense because you're too busy politicking. Stop that shit. They're not going to listen to you. And you saw that over and over again last night. You go in the lane, you expect the call, and they hit you, you lose the ball, it's a turnover, they get the ball, and they're coming back. There's no whistle. You can't expect them to call the whistle for you. You have to go and fucking make those baskets regardless and not give a shit about whether the refs call a foul. You just need to be that much stronger and that much better to convert and just make it through all the bullshit. Because seriously, you spent at least 3 trips where you got hacked. You did get fouled. I'm not saying you didn't, but they're not going to whistle it. And you can't get caught up in that and then fuck up your defensive assignment coming back. It's a huge, huge problem. And it's very much the swings that are helping the other team get their offense going because you're not getting back. So stop this shit, Scott. Seriously, bro. Seriously, stop that shit. All right, let me keep going. Let's see. Yeah, Fiercey's also saying that, she's not panicking. And that's the right thing to do. We're right there in it. Are we any worse than we were last year? No, we're not. And in some ways, we could get a lot more good things going at some point where we will be way better than last year with our win total of 41. We are right there and we're ready. It's just these are the tough times right now. Things are going to get better. Trust me. Just stick with it. We're going to be fine. Fiercely saying, I agree with Mo. Dennis is a fighter. Trevor J, sorry you guys got mocked and thank you for representing the fam. I was trying to hear you guys. I felt like that was very quiet in that arena. There was very quiet in there. Those Brooklyn fans were not confident in their team. They know what they were seeing most of that game. And Trevor J, you knew it too while you were watching with your friends, that we were kicking their ass. And I'm sure that crowd was not confident in any kind of way for the majority of that game. Oh, they can get all big and bad at the end and talk shit to you right at the end. Well, they're lucky they fucking won. And they're lucky that Ed Malloy got the order from the NBA office to make sure they won. That's the only reason why y'all won, Brooklyn. Is because the fucking refs held your hands and they really made it hard for the Raptors to try and win. And yeah, be proud of that. Talk a lot of shit to my friend Trevor J that you fucking cheated to win. That league is cheating to fucking help you and the Celtics. That is the whole reason why y'all won last night. Ed Malloy had one mission in his Ocean's 11 part of the fucking NBA bullshit scheme they're doing right now. Make sure Toronto loses so Boston can advance. That he had one mission there. Yeah. So yeah, they want to be happy that the referees have to hold their hands to a victory. Okay, Nets fan, get all big in your britches. We own you, actually. We own you. When we get to a regular game that doesn't have any stakes and there's no mandate and they let us play you fairly, we're going to blow you out, honestly, because we have your fucking number. We can kick your ass. And I believe that too about Cleveland too. Let's see. Trevor's saying today is all about the positive and not the negative. Positive vibes today. It goes a long way. Try it. It makes you very happy. There you go. Trevor J turning the other cheek and forgetting about last night. That's right. We got another game tonight. Phoenix Suns in town against the Raptors here at Scotiabank Arena, 7:30 tonight. Let's go. Let's beat the Suns. Let's forget about this. Starscream is here. Holy crap. This is a Raptor freak that we haven't seen since the first season of this channel. Starscream, good to see you. Original Raptors freak, one of my original people that was here 2 years ago. Been a while, sir. Good win for us last night. Good win for you. That's right. Starscream is a Nets fan, and he has come to check on us. It's been a little bit. Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't. You probably heard what I just said. Y'all really had your hand held by Ed Malloy last night. Honestly, the frustration that our guys have to go through and deal with is so extra compared to you guys. You guys are getting so much help. Seriously. And honestly, I would not be proud of your win last night, bro. I would be like, man, I kind of feel like this is kind of a shallow win because honestly, we have your number. We can kick your ass. And the next time we play you guys, we're going to blow you out. I'm not scared of y'all. Y'all fucking, you aren't as good as us. You aren't. We're a better team than y'all. We're way more talented, and we're going to kick your ass the next time we see you. We owe you now. Yeah, you needed that ref to help you, Starscream. Seriously. Fiercely saying, okay, please, fam, don't gang up on me. But geez, Precious, really? I'm genuinely stressed when he has the ball. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm gonna look at Precious with fair eyes. You know, I'm very much a Precious stan for sure. I don't like that he missed all the shots. I don't like that he only had 1 point last night. That he missed three free throws. He only played 10 minutes, so he only got that one stint. And really, you know, in some ways, Precious is good to have out there just because he's a great defender. And even if he's not doing good things on offensive side, he is so good on the other end that he can really help. But yeah, he was ugly last night. And in some ways, I was totally in favor of him losing his minutes to people like Boucher and McDaniels later. He just didn't have it last night. It is what it is. I mean, he does scare the hell out of a lot of people. I get it. But you know what? I'm going to be apologist for him because honestly, in some ways, I can really see him breaking through and being a better and better player. But yeah, last night he sucked. He definitely sucked. And I don't like that he only got 1 point and that he was turning the ball over and looking kind of bad for sure. You know, I see Jimmy agrees with you. Guardian Transit's here. Good to see Guardian Transit, a long-time Raptor freak. Point five offense has evaporated. We need to have guys continuously moving. It would be nice to have Scotty run point guard with the starters. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Scotty is just not fundamentally sound right now. He is very careless. And if we want a lot of turnovers and just really bad passing, that's what you would get with Scott. He's not a good passer right now. He really doesn't understand when to pass it to people. He throws it too early or he throws it too late when people have trying to get position in the pay post. He throws it. He doesn't throw things at the right speed. People don't catch it right. There's a problem with Scott connecting with some people. Some people he's really good and connects with. Just because they look pretty doesn't mean we should run him at point guard. I think what we're doing right now is fine in that. Now, the 0.5 offense has evaporated, Guardian Transit. I agree. And these guys are standing around too much now. They need to keep moving. It's pissing me off how there's no off-ball movement. That's where we get the gold. You got to move off the ball, and people need to find cutters and pass it to them. So, yeah, in some ways, we need to get that movement up again. The offense is standing around too much, and the stagnation is starting to seep in again, and that's no good. I'm totally against Scotty Bryan point guard. In fact, I'm pissed at him right now because I feel like he's not playing ethical basketball. I feel like he's playing very careless basketball, and he has the wrong motives for what he does on the court. We're not going to win at the highest level if Scott doesn't start cleaning up his shit fundamentally, because he's going to be such a high usage guy. He's got to be more clean with how he plays. Then he has to stop fucking around. He has to stop having mental lapses on defense. And then he also has to stop fucking trying careless shit on the other end of the court. Seriously. So I'm not with this. I'm not with this at all. In fact, I get upset when Scotty runs point with the bench right now still. It's not going to be any better with the starters. Trust me. In some ways, Scotty is overblown as a point guard. He really is. He's not. He's a forward. He needs to play down low. And playing guard is not the best thing. In fact, when they show the starting lineup, it pisses me off because the starting lineup is point guard, Dennis Schroeder. It should be shooting guard, OG Anunoby. And Scotty's actually playing power forward right now, or maybe even small forward at the best, or center when Jakob's not out there. He's not a guard. He's a forward. He needs to play down low. He's not a guard. And I'm just sick of this shit. There's a lot of people that just want him to be a point guard just because of the idea of it. Well, it's not a good idea for us to win, or we don't want to develop. We don't want to waste time developing Scotty into a point guard if it's not going to go anywhere towards winning. Does that make sense? If we develop him as a low post threat and the person who catches the ball and scores himself, we will go towards winning. If we try and develop him, spend years trying to develop him to make him a clean basketball point guard that doesn't make turnovers as much and he's doing all this, it's going to take years and we're going to lose a lot. So I'm saying if y'all really want to win right away, the fastest way to winning is developing Scott in the low post and forgetting about him running our team. He can run the team at the hub just like Jakob does. That is fine. He can pass from there and he can do all kinds of stuff. But in some ways, he should not be the point guard, quote unquote. He could be a guy who brings the ball up the court in fast break and transition and runs it down their throat. But in half court, he has no business running this team as the point guard. Half court offense, he's horrible as the point guard, and he should not be the point guard in half court. He can be the point guard in full court fast break situations, yeah, but not in half court. There's too much fuckery that he's causing when he does that. He's not good half court point guard. He needs to be down low, setting up in the bricks, the fucking mouse in the house, these motherfuckers. Let's just use his strengths, is what I'm saying, y'all. Use his strengths. His strength, his absolute the best strength is his strength. It's that. So, all right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying, why wouldn't they attack the paint yesterday? Stop attempting 3-pointers. We ain't it yet. I know that was lazy. That was lazy shit. In some ways, the Nets wanted us to do that. They were baiting us to do that. The harder route would have been to go inside. So the guys were taking the easy cheese, and it wasn't good cheese. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all's game plan was to go inside. You said it before the game. You obviously knew you had an advantage down low against the Nets last night, but you didn't do it. It's like you said you were going to, but you didn't fulfill your promise. And that did piss me off. Starscream said, Scotty scared me last night. Well, his shot has come a long way. See, I'm telling you, you guys should be scared because he's only going to get better. And he is a superstar. He is somebody who can do LeBron James kind of shit. And he's coming. The NBA doesn't want to see it. They want to act like he's not this or that. They'll cloud it. But the truth is, this man's going to get better and better. He's going to get better and better. And the league's in trouble. They want to make it seem like Toronto has no ceiling that goes up higher with us. But that's bullshit. You can see the way Scotty played last night, Starscream. And you know the truth is there. Yeah, the NBA media is going to try and make it sound like we are pointless in what we're doing. No. There's a big point to what we're doing, and it's in Scotty Barnes. And you can see it, and you should be scared. You should be scared, sir. Yes, Kareem saying our half-court offense is atrocious. We need to continue to run and push the ball forward. Yes, we really got to put them on their heels and get that fucking, push into them kind of stuff. Yeah, on fast break, great. But, yeah, I hate how we kind of slow down and let them get back. I hate how we don't recognize man advantage in fast break opportunities and we don't push it even harder and see that we have, I have two of my teammates on the wings. There's only two Nets back. You should be taking advantage of 3-on-2 breaks, Raptors, and converting. Once again, the word that is most important about last night is converting free throws, converting layups, converting open 3-pointers, converting really close shots to the basket off offensive rebounds, converting. You need to convert. Dana saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Canadian Dana. Kareem saying, we're going to serve the Valley of the Sun some northern snow. Yeah, they're here, and there's frost on the ground outside, and it is quite cold. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. Monique's going to the game tonight. Hopefully she'll get to yell at Devin Booker and pal around with the Raptor. That's right, yeah. Guardian Transit saying at Kareem Thomas, Dennis Schroeder has not helped rolling the ball on the floor, wasting 5 seconds, and putting us into half-court play. He doesn't waste seconds when he does that. The clock's not running when he rolls the ball like that. He's kind of like just getting time advantage. Yeah, no, I can't get along with that. That's a weird criticism as far as like Dennis with the rolling the ball. That hasn't actually been a problem because he hasn't lost the ball, first of all. And part of the reason why he's doing that is because this clock doesn't start until he grabs it. So he's not wasting any seconds when he does that. You know, Dennis is a smart pro. He wouldn't do something stupid that would hurt the team. If he's doing that, that has a reason and that has something that is helpful about it. So, Guardian, that's not a problem. I don't see him getting turnovers caused by that. And he has a reason for doing it. And I probably has, it's not, they're not running the clock when he does that. You can pay attention to it. They're not totally running the clock. Nako's saying that was a yikesy one. I like that Scotty and Boucher were hitting threes. Yeah, I like that too. That's Nako the Nacho, Gerald, my buddy Gerald. Yeah, I like the hitting threes, but they didn't hit enough threes. Let me go to the team stats real quick. They did beat us in a lot of the key team stats last night. They outshot us 45 to 39%. We got way more shots than them, like 101 field goal attempts to 89 for them, but they still made one more field goal than us. I don't like that. We were even in 3-pointers. Both teams shot 13 3-pointers in. We made on less attempts, so we actually shot better from three than them. The free throw attempts were bad. Once again, they only missed 4 free throws out of 26 attempts. They got 7 more free throw attempts than us, and that was all late in the game to help seal the deal. 12 for 19 at the free throw line for us. The 7 missed free throws are still a huge problem. Kurthika's saying we've got a streak of like 5 or 6 games where we have at least 5 missed free throws. I think it's 7 games actually that we missed at least 5 free throws in those games. That's just no good. Y'all need to make your free throws way better. They out rebounded us. They should have never out rebounded us. 59 to 46. We did get more assists. We had 11 steals. We really did well taking care of the ball. We only had 7 turnovers. And meanwhile, they had 15. That's the thing. We were playing really smart, good basketball in certain areas, not turning the ball over, playing really good defense. But we have to play a totally perfect kind of game. And that means converting our shots. And then we can win against Ed Malloy and the Nets. It's too much without all the whole ingredient list to get there. We have to play perfect to win against a ref mandated win for the Nets. That's the only way we can do Mission Impossible in that kind of situation. It really is. Points in the paint, they beat us, which is really disappointing because that was the whole key to the victory. Was we should have beat them in the paint. 34 points for us in the paint. That's way less than what we've been getting lately. That's horrible. And then 50 points in the paint for them. That's awful. They beat us in the stat category that we were supposed to absolutely dominate them in to win this game. So yeah, I'm just pissed about it in a lot of ways. G saying, as a fan of Scotty, I personally do not want to see Scotty as a point guard. I actually don't get it. His dribble is loose. He passes it off the top of the key because he can't penetrate defenses. Yeah, I don't get it either, too, G. And I'm glad you're with me on this. I'm a huge fan of Scotty's. I love Scotty, and I know he's going to be one of the top players in the league. It's just y'all that want him to be a point guard, you're going to ruin his career. Y'all need to stop seriously pushing for this because that's not the best version of Scotty, what y'all want. The best version of Scotty is the one that G and I see. And seriously, he is not good in half court as a point guard. He can do transition point guard stuff. He can do a little bit of stuff in a fast break, but not when they're all set up. He should not be the guy trying to get it in there or do certain things. And I just feel like that this is going to be a huge thing. And I'm glad that the coaches see what we see, that G and I see, and not the casual fan that just is like a Scotty lover or something like that. They just want Scotty to fulfill his dream of being a point guard in the NBA. No, we see the things that Darko sees. And I'm sure that they're going in more in the direction that what we want, G, instead of the other people like Guardian Transit that want him to be a point guard. Nah, I'm pretty sure of this, that like Darko and them understand his strengths are in the low post, like we've been saying, and that's where he should be going to more often. His dribble is way too loose. He's too careless. He's not connecting with guys. In some ways, he has to have the point guard on the team has to be the most connected. Like Darko has made it a point to get to know all the players on the Raptors personally and really know them. In some ways, Scott can't be an aloof kind of like, I'm a superstar on the up and up without being a completely friendly and really connecting with every single guy on this team. That's what point guards do. That's why Magic Johnson was awesome. That's why Steve Nash was great, is because these guys really connect with their teammates and they really care about them and they really want to get the ball to them in the correct way that it helps them the best. It's not about you looking good with a fancy pass and, oh, you didn't catch the ball, Precious, because I threw it too hard at you. It's about setting it up on a silver platter, Scott. And in some ways, your assists are not silver platters. You see that little bounce pass that Dennis does in traffic to Jakob? That's a silver platter. it gets in his hands in a way that he catches it, and it's so easy for him to just lay it up. It gets converted. Now, Scott, you're throwing passes to people's feet. You're throwing passes with some extra spin on it, and they're hard to handle. You need to get a silver platter. If you really want to fucking be a point guard, you need to start passing on a silver platter. And that means it's so easy for the person you're passing it to that they can't help but convert the basket that they're getting. And that's the thing that Magic Johnson very much knew his whole entire career. The assist isn't just me just throwing it and they had to make it. No, give it to them in a way that they fucking can't miss. And that's part of the problem. Scotty doesn't pass that way to people. He doesn't pass it to people where they can't miss. He throws difficult passes to people where it's really hard for them to get a handle on it, or they may not even be stepping into what they need to do. Now, some of the guys do have good chemistry with him for getting it and shooting, and that's Chris Boucher and Gary Trent. Now, when Scotty drives and kicks, and he finds Gary or Chris outside, like he did that one play where Chris got that shot off and made that three. That's okay. That's actually an area where he's doing a silver platter with either Trent or Boucher on the 3-point line, and that works. But a lot of the shit he's trying to do to pass into Siakam or Jakob or anybody down low, even OG, is not successful because he's not giving it to them on a silver platter. He's making it a very difficult play that's very hard to catch and convert. And that's the difference between a real point guard and somebody who just wants to be a point guard. A real point guard has a silver platter. And that's just the damn truth right there. Yeah. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Canadian Cowboy. Isaac Campbell's here. Darko's post-game interview was spot on. I have full confidence in the guy's leadership, despite the team's struggles. Yeah, Darko's got the right attitude. And honestly, he's amazing. Listen, people that want to fire him already, you're crazy. You're so stupid. A lot of those people are people that just want to see the Raptors be in confusion all the time. And they're not actually fans of our team. If you see what Darko's doing, you should believe in him and be like, holy crap, this guy's going to be really good once they figure it out and things get in sync. I'm so confident in our coach. I'm confident that he's really good at communicating with his players and getting more out of them. I'm confident in him doing X's and O's play calls out of timeouts. I'm confident in a lot of his rotations. I'm confident in how he calls timeouts. There's a lot of things that he's showing us that makes me more and more confident in him as a long-standing Raptors coach that's going to be very successful. He has a much better demeanor with the referees than his predecessor also. So there's quite a few things that Darko's doing very well right now, even though we're not adding up to wins for the team. There's a lot of good stuff happening, and the wins were going to come. They're going to come very soon. Watch. Fiercely saying, refs no longer a factor for me. I'm muting this shit. If Raps showed up every night and established dominance, it would be an issue. Also, they need to work on their mental upon favorable, unfavorable calls. Yes, Fiercely, yes. And I'm going to give you a dunk. Because honestly, I don't want to blame the refs all year. The refs are going to be a problem from time to time. In high-stakes games, there's a reason why Tony Brothers refereed our game against Boston in the in-season tournament. There's a reason why Ed Malloy refereed our game against the Brooklyn Nets last night. The NBA wants to make sure certain teams are going to win. Those guys are very much put in those spots as crew chiefs on those particular nights for very specific reasons. And that is part of what happened last night. If we understood how much was against us and how we are still like an 8-10 team right now, you guys would be like, wow, our team is badass. Seriously, that's why people don't understand why we're so positive about our team, is because we understand how much we have to overcome to actually get to 8-10. Seriously, we're a good team. You know, the fucking Raptors that won the championship in 2019, our first championship ever, you more and more think back to that team and think about how fucking badass it was and how much more we had to overcome compared to other teams that won championships since. So I understand that this shit is still going on and that our guys are still trying to have to fight against the whole system of the NBA, and that we're not a team that has been anointed a golden boy team. We're not a team that they want to be a top team in this league. They want us to go away and be shitty. And they tried to hurt us very much so over the 5 years since we won our first championship as much as possible. And they're pissed because we continue to still win. So honestly, 8-10 looks good considering everything we've got thrown against us this whole entire season so far. The referees have been bad. The schedule has been awful. The schedule has been erratic and crazy. There's a lot of reasons why the Raptors are not like a winning team or a team that's absolutely a win. In some ways, if you look at the 4 games we should have won last night, Cleveland, Brooklyn, Portland, and Chicago, we'd be 12-8 right now instead of 12-6. We'd be 12-6 right now. If we had won the 4 games that we should have won, we were the better team, but there were all kinds of fuckery, or we just shot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, there's going to be learning pains, and this is part of it. We're 8-10. I'm proud of that. We could be way worse. We could be Detroit. We could be down there in those really bad. The other thing is our record is really close to all the other play-in teams and the playoff teams. We win a few games in a row. All of a sudden, there's some easier games coming up. We could leap right over the play-in tournament and get right into a playoff spot by the end of this calendar year. So yeah, stay in the car and stop panicking. Anybody who's like worried about the Raptors, there's a lot of good things coming to us very soon. And you don't try and get all upset about it before. Let's just let it see and it happen. It's going to come. Paul B saying, got to win tonight. Make your free throws. That's right. We got to make our free throws. And if the Raptors out there messing up Devin Booker's free throws, awesome. Awesome. G saying first year rookie of the year, Scotty was a forward center because OG was injured a lot that year and they didn't have Pirtle. Him being a guard has put Fred and now Dennis in a bad spot because of his dribble. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I think that Dennis is doing fine in different ways than Fred did with Scotty last year. I mean, listen, in some ways, I don't like Scott not connecting with Dennis. This is something that's really going to be is an issue right now. I don't know what's going on with them. In some ways, these guys got to play off each other more or practice more with each other. It could very well be that this is the same, little bit same conflict as last year. That Dennis, in some ways, is not like totally respecting Scotty because Scotty does not play correctly. And in some ways, it could very well be the kind of thing like Fred and Dennis both saw Scott and they're like, dude, we see so much that you could do different and you would be so much better, but you're not listening to us. It's stuff like that. They could be very frustrating for a vet watching a young player with all the tools in the world, but they're not listening or they're not connecting or there's certain things happening. I don't know if that's exactly how it's happening, but I could see it being that way. There's some of the mistakes that Scotty makes are so frustrating. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's like we win and die with you, bro. Tighten up is basically the way I would feel if I was on the team with him. Dude, we're gonna win it. We're gonna lose it or win with you. It's up to you. So if you play like shit or you don't play exactly right, we will lose. It's up to you, Scott. It really is up to you. So up to him. Bryce Lawson's here, holding it down in Kentucky for the Raptor Freak family. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. I'm going to take Shev's advice and take away my expectations from the season. That's a good idea. This process will be long, but I'm here for the ride. There you go. That's a real fan. Impatient fans that just want win, 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 win. You're not going to have a good time this year again. You didn't have fun last year either, did you? No. So this year could be very similar in some ways, but with a positive uptick of growing towards something worthwhile. Last year, we didn't grow towards something worthwhile because Nick didn't really have a plan for him other than I want to go to Philadelphia by the end of the year. He had no plan for us going forward. He was ready to fucking leave. He's like, oh, it's been a great 10 years. I'm going to have to assess what I want to do this summer. I'm like, motherfucker, you're under contract for this next year. Did you just actually quit like in a half-ass way just now in an interview? It's like, what the fuck? Well, we know Darko's going to stick around and that Darko needs time. So we're actually building towards something this year, unlike last year where we just had a head coach that was sabotaging our team with his eyes on going to another team the whole time. I tell you, he wanted to be on Philadelphia that whole entire year last year. And he was fucking our team up on purpose to do what he did. Let's see. Cowboys saying that was another game we should have won. Yep, I'll agree with that. Guardian saying problem with Scotty flinging his arms is that he is now out of his defensive play at the other end. Now we have 5-on-4. Always play basketball. Quit complaining during the play. He was getting better about this more recently, but it flared up again last night. And it really was probably because it was an even more intensely unfair whistle last night. And he was like really getting pissed. And I can understand that, Scott, but you have to be mentally more tough. And you have to expect this. You can ask OG and Pascal. They've been going through this a few more years than you have, and they understand the lay of the land with this. And that is a big problem, Guardian Transit, is that he gets himself out of the game mentally because the whistle doesn't go his way. Kareem saying, I really hate Scotty's body language out there. Yeah, it bugs me. He's like very like, and like, stop being a whiny little bitch, Scott, and fucking be a man and make things happen on the court like a man would and say, I'm a man. I'm gonna fucking do this anyway. You don't fucking take your anger out on the rim and dunk it on their heads. Just fucking seriously. That's all you got to do right there, bro. Cowboys saying fishies. What? Fiercely saying, not the wet dream of Adam Silver. I know the wet dream of Adam Silver happened last night. The Celtics made it. Oh, it's like the Knicks. Yes, we got New York to get to a relevant thing. Oh, I hate James Dolan though. Yeah, seriously, it's like that. The way that it's seriously like Ocean's 11. It's all in syncopation. Dun 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 dun. And Malloy, take care of your job with the game with Toronto. Other referee crews and like Boston's game and other games manipulating things in the right way so that it all works out exactly right for the Celtics. Oh my gosh, smooth, because they had a long shot to actually make the next round. They were not favored at the beginning of the games last night. Orlando was favored to get the next round, and they got shafted by the NBA's thing. See, that's what I'm saying. We're not the only team that gets punished by the NBA and hurt by them. The Orlando Magic got punished last night by the NBA because of the script they want to write. Orlando should have been going to the next round. They deserved it. And the Celtics were helped by the league once again in different multiple games to get there. Different multiple games. Yeah. Smooth saying, I have to take away my fandom from watching this team and watch as a student of the game. The team is making me angry. The repeated mistakes, too many to mention. I really hope the front office has a plan. We do. And some people are saying, oh, there's no plan. Masai's just going to be like, keep going. And well, in some ways, that is the plan and it is the right plan, even though people don't like it or they're mad about it. In some ways, we got to be patient still. And Smooth, this is the right way to look at it. Just watch it as a student of the game of basketball. And in some ways, you care about the team. You want them to win. But in some ways, there's different levels of winning. Like last night, we lost technically, but in some ways, we won. In some ways, because we showed that we could dominate them. Honestly, we're a way better team than the Nets. That's what I learned last night. I don't even care if Ben Simmons and the rest of them are healthy and they come back. We're a better team to that team. And as we play them over the season, hopefully the season series record will reflect it by the end of the year when we get all of our games against them in. Yeah, we're a better team than them and Cleveland. That's the things I've learned from these narrow losses to them. And it's just we tighten up some shit, we will blow them out. We will blow both those teams out if we tighten up some shit real quick. Starscream saying, well, as the only member of Nets Nation in this chat, I'm happy you guys didn't kick the shit out of us. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, seriously, they were trying to help the Celtics. And in some ways, y'all had a long shot of making it to the next round of the in-season tournament, but not really. It really would have had to go really some crazy ways for y'all to win the tiebreaker and get that wild card spot. I think it's weird that New York got it. I think it's so weird that New York got it. I think that that's just convenient in some ways. It's true though. You could see what I'm saying though. There's a size advantage we have against a lot of teams we're playing this year that we can absolutely dominate people. We did it to the Mavericks earlier this season. Absolutely kicked the shit out of them because of our size advantage. And it's not that we have a size advantage against the Cavs, but we played them dominant around the basket with Jakob. But with you guys, we do. I mean, Claxton's really your only big, and he's annoying, and he has shot blocking skills. But for the most part, he's not totally like seal out pivot in the middle. And in some ways, we can go inside if he's or draw him out. So I don't know. I wish the Raptors had stuck to the game plan and got more points in the paint last night, but they didn't. And you know what? Get your win. But yeah, it's just another game in the regular season, and both of our teams are out of the IST. Yeah. G saying, I'm okay with developing Scotty as a point guard in spurts. Would at least like to see him with the starters as a forward, not a shooting guard. OG is the best three-point shooter. The lineups don't make sense to me, to be honest. Well, Darko's very much on the record saying that he doesn't really see the positions 1 through 5. Sure, he sees Dennis as being different than the other guys and Jakob being different from the other guys. But really, the positions between Anunoby, Siakam, and Barnes are very interchangeable, and they're basically doing from 2 to 4 things. And like in some ways, the numbers don't matter to Darko. They really, really don't. He's not looking at this stuff. If you ask me, my educated basketball knowledge opinion, OG is playing more like a shooting guard. and he is our starting shooting guard. And I've never agreed with them putting Scott at guard. He's a forward. He plays like a big forward usually, and that's the where he should play. He's going to shoot 70% from around the basket, and he'll shoot 30% from outside. I'd much rather get him down low where he's going to make a higher percentage of his baskets. If you have the skills of a Kawhi Leonard, why the fuck wouldn't you not try and be like Kawhi Leonard? Is what I would say. If you have the skills of Kawhi Leonard, why would you waste them and try and become a point guard? You should become Kawhi Leonard, is what I'm saying. It's like, really, seriously, you can become Kawhi Leonard or you can be a point guard that's going to be half-assed. I think I want to become Kawhi Leonard, is what I'd fucking like to become. Kawhi Leonard that doesn't get hurt and could actually be more of Kawhi Leonard, what he should have been in his promise. Cowboys saying, I guess I'm in the Trevor Cup tournament. Thanks, Raptors. Not. You're not, though, Cowboy. You were eliminated. All right, we'll do this right now. The 8 players that advanced to getting closer to this fine, swanky trophy that Trevor J sent me, the Trevor J Cup. The 8 teams, the official 8 teams that have advanced are Michael Borland. He represents the Boston Celtics. Boo! Edmund, who represents the Indiana Pacers. They will be playing each other in Indiana. I'm hoping the Pacers will kick the shit out of the Celtics in the next round. That would be so awesome. Just do it, Indiana. Just have a really badass game, Halliburton, and just kick their ass. The Lakers are through. So Kenrick Chronic Art James is in line to possibly win this. And that would be part of Adam Silver's wet dream right there if Kenrick gets this trophy. Paul B holding it down in Wisconsin with his Milwaukee Bucks. He has a chance to still get this, Mr. Paul B. Fun guy. He is the representative for the New Orleans Pelicans who got to qualify to the 8. He is still in the running. NBA Quick Takes. Our friend NBA Quick Takes, who's not been here in a bit, he has the Knicks. So he's actually still in the running for this. Fiercey Salsera, you're still in the running. The Phoenix Suns got the wild card on the Western side after all. I said you were out when you got one loss at the beginning of this tournament. Well, they won 3 straight after that, and they actually did qualify. So Fiercey Salsera, you are still in the running for this. And then Country Kong. Country Kong and the Sacramento Kings taking care of business against the Warriors, winning by 1 at the end of the night. You are still involved with this. So those are the 8 Raptor freaks that are still in the running for this thing, that are still in the tournament. Single elimination. Let's see who's left standing. I'm rooting for certain ones of y'all, and I'm not rooting for some of y'all too. I'd be very happy if Country Kong won this trophy. I'd be very, very happy if Fun Guy won it. I'd be happy if Paul B won it. I'd be happy if Edmund won it. I will not be happy if Michael, Kenrick, or NBA Quick Takes wins it. Yeah, and possibly Fiercey, I'd be okay with you winning it, although I don't kind of want Phoenix to win either. So, yeah, there's where we're at with that tournament right there. Cowboy, you're out, bro. You're out, Brooklyn. Starscream saying, wait, Alex, you own us? Haven't we won 5 in a row? Laugh out loud. You all have won 5 in a row partly because of Kyrie. Kyrie is the reason why y'all have won 5 in a row. And honestly, we do. Listen, I'm not talking about in the record in the last 5 games. Y'all had Kyrie kill us for most of those wins in that 5-game win streak. It's Kyrie Irving that owned us, not the Nets at that time. And listen, last night, Ed Malloy owned us more than the Nets did. Royce O'Neal hitting some threes, whatever. We should have kicked the shit out of y'all. And without the referees helping y'all, we would have, seriously, last night. So, I mean, seriously, you can, put that 5-win streak over us right now. It's Kyrie Irving's win streak. He plays for the Dallas Mavericks now. And he was a huge reason why y'all won those games against us recently. I want to switch this. We're going to run a streak going against y'all next game starting when we start playing you next. Because seriously, I seen it. You can watch it with your open eyes and basketball eyes, and you can see that we fucking have your number and that the referees were holding us back. It's like putting a governor on an engine. They won't let us go a certain speed. They're trying to hold us down. If they let us a full throttle and let us play the right way, man, we'd kill y'all. We seriously would. We're that much more talented and athletic and better. And in some ways, the NBA has to put a governor on the Raptors, or they would be a top team in this league the way they don't want them to be. Bryce is saying, our lineups will never make sense until changes are made, to be honest. The starting lineup makes sense, but the second unit needs to be worked out. And in some ways, it's really just getting the right combinations of starters and people from the bench. In some ways, it's not playing certain people together, too. I'm realizing that some ways that's what it is. Fiercely saying, Coach oil, Mazzola oil. I like that. I'm gonna give you a dunk. That's a new one. I don't know why I never made that connection that he could be called that. Needs to be careful, encouraging weird decisions. Billy Donovan didn't appreciate that end of game foul. No, it wasn't even an end of game foul. There was a certain point in the second half where they just started hacking Andre Drummond very early. They were up by 20 points and they're hacking him to make the time to make the point differential right so that Boston could advance. That's what I'm telling you. It's a very specific plan the NBA had last night, and the referees had to work together with the in the games to make it happen for the Celtics. They really, really did. In some ways, the referees in that game with the Celtics last night had to be a part of helping them to get to this point, and they had it very fine tuned. And I wish the Bulls had been more of a fight and maybe could have helped hurt them and spoiled it. But no, the Bulls are a pushover right now, and they're easy to kind of fuck up. And it sucks because honestly, if they had been a spoiler and they had just slightly messed them up so that they didn't advance, oh my gosh, that would have been so great. But yeah, there's a lot that went a certain way, and Billy Donovan's not happy. His team has been kind of embarrassed a couple times in this tournament by people doing shady shit because of point differential. And man, fouling Drummond like that early in the game to draw out possessions to increase the lead for the Celtics is really kind of it's new. If it's a new part of the NBA, we're gonna have to accept it and just be like, well, this is just how it is. But old school code is getting broken by this. And in some ways, there's a lot of people saying that this in-season tournament is awful. And a lot of people are saying that this thing needs to be one and done. Some other people are saying they need to expand it, and that'll fix some of these problems. That instead of having just this many games, 4 games for the in-season tournament, they want to have 8 games or 16 games involved in the in-season tournament buildup, and they could do this. That's basically what the G League's doing right now, the Showcase Cup. And they will probably expand it and make more in-season tournament games. And as Jack Armstrong has criticized, he said he wants to put them all in one section and stop mixing regular season games that aren't in season tournament in between in season tournament games. Jack's saying, no, fuck that shit. Just take the whole month and make every single game that whole month in season tournament games. And if there's more games, less of this point differential, fracas, disagreement kind of stuff will happen because there's going to be more watered down and one particular game won't be so pertinent. And there's a certain target goal with scoring to do this. In some ways, that will help fix some of this shit. Having more in-season tournament games, and if Jack has his way, they all are in a row instead of put with other games that aren't the same in the middle. I get that, and they're really going to tinker with this. It's not going to go away. It's been a success, but they need to maybe expand it, and that may seem like that's kind of like going the wrong direction, but actually it might be if they expand the amount of in-season tournament games. So yeah, all right, let's keep going. G said other teams' shooting guards are Clay, Mitchell, Zach LaVine, shot creating shooters. Why is Scotting a shooting guard? Nick Nurse did this too, and I never understood it. Yeah, I don't mind him shooting the threes, but in some ways, he should really be playing the post. Really, really should. Fiercely saying, once again, free throws an issue yesterday. Stats popped up, 27th in the league. Yeah, they just got to get better at this. In some ways, it's annoying. In some ways, it's like, I get it. Y'all are shooting yourselves in the foot. You don't get any free throw calls. And then when you do get the free throw line, you miss them. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Cowboys saying 27 is shitty. Nako saying OG should be the starting shooting guard. He is the starting shooting guard on the down low. It's just that Rogers and TSN don't fucking put the graphic up with him in the SG spot. He is the shooting guard. And in some ways, that's part of their perception war to make everything kind of screwy and have all these people out of pocket with the Scotty Barnes point guard shit. Is like, you keep putting slot in the guard position. He's actually a forward or a center more than he is a guard. And yeah, OG is our shooting guard because he shoots a lot of threes and he slashes. And that's more shooting guard kind of stuff. So OG's guarding the guards more often than Scott. Scott is guarding the forwards and the centers. It's like they're labels, but in some ways, if you really want to make it discernment and say who's playing what, OG is the 2. OG is the 2. Dennis is the 1. OG is the 2. And Siakam could even be the 3 or the 4, interchangeable with Scotty. Scotty could be the 3 or the 4. It's either way on that one. Sometimes Siakam plays more like a slasher scorer, like a 3, and not so much in the post. Sometimes Scotty does, they kind of reverse back and forth. Let's see. Jimmy saying our starting lineup has one shooter. That's a problem. I disagree with that. We may have one good shooter shooting right now. And who is that shooter, though, Jimmy? Can you tell me who the one shooter is in the starting lineup? See, that's what makes me think, well, you're wrong. Because honestly, OG may be the best shooter in the starting lineup right now. He's probably the highest, although Jakob's got the highest field goal percentage in the NBA. But OG's probably our main best shooter. But Siakam should be hitting his threes. He's more of a shooter when he's hitting his threes. Scotty's not a bad 3-point shooter at this point. And Dennis is actually a good shooter also. So I don't get that exactly. I mean, Dennis and OG are pretty good shooters. And Scotty and Pascal are improving. Let's just put it that way. Fiercely saying, or is it 29th? I forget. But regardless, our free throws is trash. I think it's 27th. I think it's 27th. Nako saying, if I'm the Warriors, I'm calling some teams. What do you mean calling some teams? You mean like want trades or you're upset? I don't know what you mean, Gerald, when you say that. If you're the Warriors, you're calling some teams. The Warriors suck. They're too old. Their time has passed. They're going to be like last year and kind of just suck again. And I fully expect that. So, yeah, they're just, I mean, getting Chris Paul, whatever. Fiercely saying 331 people watching, 778 likes. No shade, Lex, but definitely a glitch. I'm all for the algorithm. Let's go. It keeps doing that. I don't know. I don't see that on mine. It may be something going on with yours, Fiercey. Mine does not say that much. Cowboy saying that pass OG to Barnes to Boucher for the 3 was fire. That was a fantastic play by Scotty. That touch pass, as Alvin said, his volleyball friends would be very proud of Scotty. But very much just directing water. OG throws it to him, and right away, Scotty just pushes it over to Chris, and Chris hits the 3. That was a very beautiful play, Cowboy, for sure. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. We have to flush this game. Let's be careful with our emotions. They need our support in these tough times. We lost our winnable game. Yeah, I'm with her on this. I'm forgetting last night already. I'm glad we have a game today. I'm glad we get a chance to redeem ourselves, and it's a big-time opponent, and they're on a win streak. I want to be streak busters. Who are you going to call? Streak busters. That's right. Let's break that 7-game win streak of the Phoenix Suns and Devin Booker tonight. That it will make everything all right now. Yeah, it will. Cowboys just smashed the like button. I like that. Carlos saying Raptors could be much more dominant if only they play with force. All these forwards prefer playing in the perimeter. I know. Settling for the outside was a huge problem last night. Scotty, go inside. Be a big boy and beat up on those babies. Come on, man. Cowboys saying, have we lost every game since Grady went down to 905? Don't try and make this connection, Cowboy. That's a silly connection. But yes, we have. But there's only been 2 games, and they were very close games, both of them. Kareem saying, I'm really puzzled why we suck at free throws so much. Is our practice rims wider? Do we have double rims at the facility? Are the opposing teams manipulating rims at halftime? I just don't understand. It was a combination of a couple, like all kinds of different things that people miss free throws. A big factor is concentration. These guys got to dial in and get mentally right. In some ways, them not playing mentally right in the game, like I've been critical of Scotty today, it is the same thing at the line. They got to be present. They got to be aware. They got to really be serious. They got to take it very seriously, and they got to be patient. And they got to kind of the Siakam shoots his best free throws when he takes his time. Like we're kind of like, wow, Siakam's really taking his time. He's kind of like wipes his face, pushes, does his little thing, wave off, and then he takes his time. And he goes into his shot, he shoots it, boom, he makes it more often. When he rushes his free throws, he misses. Precious. When he's not concentrating, he misses his free throws. It's a big problem. And in the Brooklyn Nets arena last night, there was a lot of distraction. And I think that Precious saw the shiny light and it distracted him. It could have been Mr. Whammy's crazy glasses. He saw him and he's like, whoa. Precious is concentration. Gary, a lot of his misses this year so far have been partly because of his plantar fasciitis, because he's not getting a good push off his foot. And in some ways, his technique is very like certain in a certain way he did it. Last year, he was almost a 90% free throw shooter. Why is Gary shooting 55% this year? Well, it's because of his foot. His foot is really hurting him in certain ways. In some ways, he needs to concentrate and tighten up there way better. There's different things for different ones. You know, OG's usually a really good free throw shooter, but sometimes it's concentration with him also. So, you know, there's a lot of the reasons right there. A lot of the reasons right there. Paul B saying, I'm ready for Masai to find some bench improvements. Well, I know you're ready. It's all going to happen in all due time. Trust me. There's going to be changes to our team. There'll be slight changes, not massive changes, slight changes to the supporting cast. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be very effective. The move when Bobby and Masai pull a trigger is going to be very effective. It won't be as overwhelming or huge as most people would like, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make a splash and do something fancy just to appease people. No, we're going to make a very solid move that makes sense, that is good for our future and winning. And it's not about making a big flashy move like getting Dame Lillard or something like that. It may be a very a smaller name, and it actually may have a huge impact. Let's see. Cowboys saying yes, Paul B. Bam. Smooth saying, I'm surprised the IQ on this team is so bad. It does not make sense. Hang on. It jumped ahead while I was reading it. I'm going to make sure I get that in there. Hang on. Smooth, right here. Let's see. Where is he? La 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 la. Sorry that I lost my place. It jumps automatically sometimes at all the way to the bottom of the chat, and I have to go all the way back. I'm surprised the IQ on this team is so bad. It does not make sense, the mistakes they continuously make. I realize basketball ain't easy, but these are pros, not high schoolers. You know, Smooth is something like us old heads, we notice this more because we saw basketball players come in the league with 4 years of college. We saw basketball players come in with the basic fundamentals down. It's like in some ways that was what was needed to make the NBA, is you had to show that you're fundamentally good. Now it's not all players that are young coming out that are not fundamentally right, but it's most of them. And I say like Marquise Noel's fundamentally right for the most part, from what I've seen of him. But there's a lot of these young, super talented players like LaMelo Ball that are horrible fundamentally. And it really is kind of a culture thing with how we teach our kids in North America how to play. And in some ways in Europe, that's why they're ahead, is because they teach the kids more fundamentally how to play the game right. And that's why Europe and other places around the world are going to overtake the United States and possibly Canada for having better players, because we're not training our players correctly here on the right things. And fundamentals need to be taught. And then they're not getting them. They're not getting them. They don't get them at the high school level. They get 1 year of college and boom. That's not good enough. You're not coming in with the fundamentals. And the coach in the NBA has to teach you the fundamentals with the advanced shit that you should be learning. That's what you should be learning. That's where it's messed up right there. It's a culture thing. And it's the place where the game is overall. These youngsters don't know how to play right, is what part of the problem. Cowboys saying, next, what's the ref report for the Suns? Also seen Durant might not play. Yeah, right. Well, I did that at the beginning of the stream. Durant is questionable today. Bradley Beal is out. Our ref crew is Bill Kennedy, Nick Bookert, and Danica Mosier. Yeah, I did that at the beginning, Cowboy. I'll review it at the end, too. Carlos saying they were over helping in crunch time. Maybe. Yeah, I could see that. Over helping instead of just staying at home with people. Yeah, somebody was commenting that neither team was doing switches on defense last night. They were very much playing people straight up, which was good in some ways. It actually favors the Raptors when we do that, because we have such good premium talent in each individual defensively. Yeah, we don't need to do switching stuff. We can play people one-on-one straight up on defense. Cowboys saying tonight should be exciting. I hope so. I want to win. Fiercely saying I keep hearing defense wins games. Well, offense is definitely needed as well. Our defense is great, but I mean, it's not as simple as that. Defense does win games still, but we need to convert easy baskets, bunnies near the basket in the last 2 minutes. How about that? Bryce is laughing at Fiercey. Fiercey saying, not Adam Silver getting a boner. Lex cracks me up. I know. I'm sorry for putting these mental images in your head. I get a strike for this. I should never talk about Adam Silver in these kind of ways. I'm sorry that I'm doing this to y'all. I should shut up for real. Bryce is saying Zach LaVine doesn't sound bad right now. Yeah, he does. Did you see his stat line last night? Holy crap, his stat line was bad last night, Bryce. Really, really bad. I think he had like 4 points last night or something. Starstream saying it's funny what you say about Royce because we hate him because he always does something dumb every game at the end of the third. He took a damn three with 18 seconds left instead of playing for last shot. Whatever he did last night is working. The fact that your guy O'Neal has tied his career high in threes the last 2 games is impressive. He's on a hot streak. He can't do no wrong for y'all. In some ways, we would have beat the Nets if Royce wasn't on a hot streak right now. Seriously, we would have beat the Nets if Royce was not on a hot streak last night. Seriously. Troy Henry saying, what a fucking sad night for the fans. I still can't recover. And the funniest thing is I stream it on my phone, waste my fucking data. Oh, Troy Henry, I'm sorry, my man. I'm sorry, bro. It is what it is. Let's move past it. Let's go kick the shit out of Phoenix now. Cool Cat saying, Coach Darko developing over winning. It's okay. Precious is nervous on free throws right now. It really was a bad environment in there. Like the last 2 games with the Cavs crowd and the Nets crowd on the road, they're very vocal and animated and loud close to the arena. They have people in their 100 sections that are very much real diehard crazy fans that are right up in your face and yelling. And so, in some ways, I wish our crowd was more like that closer to the court, but we aren't. We're nice. We're too quiet. We're too rich and too ritzy and too above it. Fucking Raptors close to the court fans. Well, I wish we were more like that Brooklyn crowd last night close to the court, or the Cleveland crowd, very vocal and loud around the free throws and messing us up. But we shouldn't let that happen. We should just make the free throws in defiance of the noise of the crowd. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm worried about Precious a little bit with his confidence at the free throw line for sure. Cowboys saying, I have a weird feeling if we did trade Flynn, he would start dropping shots like crazy. I know that would piss me off too. Like, and it wouldn't even be us. It would be some dumb thing where it's like it's just the situation he goes into. I've said for a couple of years, Malachi should be playing for the Magic. In some ways, he would be better down there and probably have a better career than with us. I don't know. In some ways, he's the biggest fail of the front office to me in recent years is drafting Malachi and investing so much in him. If I'm going to be critical of Bobby and Masai, I will start with Malachi. But otherwise, I don't really see a lot of criticism for them otherwise than that. I don't agree with the criticism about Jakob and all that kind of stuff. I do agree with criticizing them about Malachi and riding with him for so long. Although he played pretty good last night. I mean, let me look at his stat line real quick. He was actually, like I said, he had that really impressive fake that I really liked. He was in 16 minutes. He only got 5 points, 2 of 5. He hit that 3 and that layup, and that's it. He got 1 assist, and that's it. A -10. Nothing, no stat stuff, and barely any points. He looked good, but really, did he contribute that much? No, he didn't. He did not. Let's see. Wayne saying, Lex, who is our meanest player on our team? Conversely, who's considered our nicest player? We look like a team lacking energy and drive. Scotty and Boucher keep jumping past shooters. It's stupid. Yeah, it's a couple people bringing that up. I know when I saw Scotty go flying by Royce O'Neal, I was pissed. I'm like, why are you going so fast at him like that? Why don't you just kind of you sometimes you can just do this at somebody and it'll mess up their shot. You don't even have to run all the way at them. So why do you have to run right past them? Why don't you just run up to them and you will probably aggravate them enough? Trust me, especially if you're screaming, Scotty. All right, so who's the meanest player on our team? I think that the meanest player on our team right now is Dennis Schroeder. I think it is. I think honestly, he's the one who has the most edge and he has the most dog. And that's what we need. We need more mean. If Scotty could become the meanest player on our team, I'd be very happy with that. He has a possibility of becoming that. It's just he's got to tap into his meanness as far as I'm going to dominate and be the meanest guy on the court. And if he can do that, that'd be awesome. But if you're going to ask me, the other guys are too nice. I think Dennis is the meanest guy on our team, honestly. Who's our nicest player? I think it's probably OG, unfortunately. Now, this is a crazy thing. OG is one of the most shut down guards in the world, and he's so nice to Luka while he's doing it. He talks so much nice about other opponents like Mikal Bridges, and then he shuts them down. So in some ways, him being the nicest player on the team doesn't matter because he is. He kind of is the nicest guy on our team. OG is kind of funny. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Cowboy saying, "Where's Coloco when you need him? Come on, Coloco, get better soon." I know this is a big problem this year. Bryce is saying, if our good team didn't lose games they should win, then we wouldn't overact. I'm a fan who doesn't like losing, and we have the personnel to be great, but we suck, so it's hard. Yeah. See, I don't say we suck. I mean, it's a really weird thing, Bryce. It really is like a perspective thing. You got to take L's with some of the development, and these are good development losses. They're close. They're not blowouts. There's a lot of good, positive things happening to learn from. And there's a lot of bad things to clean up also. Not a lot, but there's very basic things to clean up. So these are learning experiences. And in some ways, they'll be better for us in the future because we're going through them now. So, I mean, I get it. You're frustrated. You want to win more. I do too, of course. But in some ways, the journey is about getting better for the long term over the long haul and not just for short term, easy victories. If we won a victory where we didn't really deserve to win it and we just kind of cheaped into it, I'd be kind of like, well, this isn't helping us learn anything. In some ways, it's better for us to lose and learn stuff than like get cheap victories and feel like we're better than we are than we aren't. Does that make sense? Cowboys saying, "True, Bryce. I believe Darko will figure it all out soon. I hope so too. I know we will." That's right, Bryce. That's the right attitude. Paul B saying, "Cowboy, remember Terrence Davis? He never really dropped buckets until he left the Raptors. Don't sweat Flynn." What are you saying, Paul? I'm not totally understanding. He never really dropped buckets until after he left. He actually scored really well for us too when he played for us too. That's not totally true. He played better for the Kings, but he was older and wiser. But he was actually really good for the Raptors in his little bit of time for us too, Davis. So, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. I worry about us cutting people and them coming back, but I don't give a shit. It is what it is. Jalen Suggs, whatever. That kind of bullshit's going to happen from time to time. If Flynn really is going to come back and get revenge at us, if we do trade him or cut him or something like that, so be it. But I'll be like, okay, yeah, you were never a Raptor, bro. You couldn't do this for us, and now you're going to do it against us. Fuck you, is what I would say at that point. Wayne's saying, I hate to say it, but we need to get rid of our nicest player. That nice mentality is a virus that's costing us winnable games. We just lack winning attitude. Guys are too comfortable win or lose. I don't think they're comfortable about this. No, I don't think they're comfortable about this. They're pissed. They're upset. And Dennis is in that locker room telling them exactly how pissed and upset they are if they aren't. You know, if there's some people being casual and laughing and happy about it and stuff like that, I'm sure the other guys are like, what the fuck are you doing? Calm. You know, you need to take this seriously. None of them are happy. None of them are doing shit on social media when this happens. I'm not doing a Raptors Instagram check because nobody has anything to celebrate or do anything like that. Dennis don't want to go out on Halloween if he's lost. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not as simple as this because in some ways we want to build a team with good character, and sometimes that adds up to being nice guys. But also, you know, like I said, if OG is our nicest player on their team and he's one of the best defenders in the league, that's just a trade-off you're going to have. I mean, he is really the nicest player on our team. I mean, you could say Siakam's a nice guy, but no, he's not in some ways. He gets pissed and angry. Is Pirtle a nice guy? No, he's very physical and he can hurt people. He can hit people hard out there. In some ways, Pirtle can have a mean side on the underlying that we don't realize, that we really don't see. Scotty could have a meaner side, you know. In some ways, I don't like the Vince Carter friends with the whole league attitude that Vince used to have. And Scotty doesn't kind of totally have that. He is friends with a lot of people across the league, but he's also a competitor and he wants to beat all of them too. I don't know. I get what you're saying, Wayne, but it's not as simple as just getting rid of the nicest guy on our team. It really isn't because they all have different pluses and minuses. Carlos saying Raptors beat up all these teams in the last 10 years. That's why they are relishing these wins. That's right. We own the Nets in the past in all kinds of different ways, and now they're getting a little streak where they're feeling better. In some ways, we had win streaks against the Sixers, win streaks against the Lakers, win streaks against the Nets that we've lost since Kyle Lowry left. In some ways, Kyle Lowry is the one keeping track of all the winning and losing for our team and who we need to owe and get back at. You know, in some ways, we need somebody to do that. Like Kyle reminded people, it's like, yeah, the last time we played the Nets, this is what happened. And Ed Malloy screwed us over. We need to beat their ass tonight. And then they're like, oh, yeah. Well, we need somebody like that on this team. If it's Dennis, that's great. If it's one of the other guys, that's great. But we need somebody reminding them of where we're at with games, especially against these two teams we just played, Cleveland and Brooklyn. We got to remember these games for when we play them later this season. We definitely do. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying Boucher was indeed awesome, but can we get another player who displays such energy from the bench? We need more than one player like that. Well, Grady's like that. Grady has a lot of energy coming off the bench. And well, when he comes back, hopefully he'll help with that. Bryce is saying, take that back, Lex. It's not Scotty. What do you mean? On which point? It is Scotty's fault we lost the last two games. It is because we're developing him as a team leader and being one of our focal guys, and he's not stepping up and doing it. And instead, he's making very careless mistakes. And instead of stepping up and being a hero, he's not. He's contributing to us losing instead of helping us win. So yeah, I mean, I know some people get upset with me, and I am a very huge Scott fan. But this is the thing: I love him that much. I want him to be the best player he can be. And in some ways, coddling him and telling him, "Oh, you're so great," and all this kind of stuff is not helping him. In some ways, helping him is telling him what you could be better at. And this is all I'm doing right now. Nako's saying Scotty should be thought of as a passing forward. Yeah, he's a great passer, and we can utilize the passing without him being the point guard focally. He can be. I'm telling you, if he can do the Jakob role, he do that Jakob role just like Jakob does, and he'd be so good. You get a lot of assists doing it that way. He'll get a lot of easy baskets for himself, rolling in that pick and roll set that Jakob does. So there's a lot of good stuff there. Bryce is saying, how do you expect him to prosper like we know he will when he doesn't have the right pieces around him? He does have the right pieces around him. You got to make it fit. It's not that the pieces are wrong around him. I don't like when people start saying, oh, it's everybody else's fault except for Scotty's. No, the reasons we lost these last two games are very paramount centered around Scotty. And the plus minus shows it. There's more time on the court when Scotty's out there. We're losing than winning. And it's because he's not playing winning basketball. He's not getting back on defense. He's allowing too many easy shots for the other team. And those are absolutely killing us. And that is a huge part right there. That's a huge part. And then he's playing lazy by shooting outside threes instead of going inside and getting paint touches. These are things he can fix and he can do better. Carlos saying, do you guys think Scotty is playing this way because position-wise he's a shooting guard in the starting lineup? Would he thrive if he was the power forward and we deal Siakam out? We don't need to deal Siakam to do this. Scotty can play power forward and Siakam can play a position himself and be outside. It's all interchangeable. And it really, once again, Darko just uses labels. He doesn't really care about the labels. I mean, he doesn't care about the numbering positioning. He doesn't look at it that way when he's setting these sets up and the way he looks at the players. Let's see. G saying, Bryce, we love Scotty, but we can't pretend he isn't being passive and even lazy at times. It could be the fact that he is playing on the perimeter, but his mood shouldn't dictate his desire to win. There you go. There you go right now. He's letting the referees manipulate his emotions by not giving him what he wants. He needs to be like, nothing is going to be given to me. I got to take everything. That's really the biggest thing with Scott. He has to start taking instead of thinking he's just going to get things handed to him. And that's a big, big part of it right there. Starscream saying, I mean, the Nets are 2-1 in the playoff series, so I don't know where this beat up on team's narrative comes from. You're talking about it in the overall series that we've had with you guys over time. I mean, we can talk about net shit from like way long time ago with Kyle Lowry and that one series where Kyle got fouled by Paul Pierce in the lane and we didn't get free throws and we got railroaded out of that game on that Sunday afternoon, way back. Paul Pierce hit Kyle in the lane and there should have been a foul call right at the end of the game and we lost just barely. And it really was a ref manipulation. Once again, Brooklyn, you're getting help from the front office that is in your city. And just understand that. Like, it's in the interest of the league to help you guys. And in some ways, we have to overcome that interest that they have in you guys winning over us. And so understand, you're getting help. It's like your mom helped you win. And that's what's going on here. So understand that. I mean, we kicked your ass in the bubble. We swept you in that one series 4-0 when you had Jared Allen and whatchamacallit as your coach still, Kenny Atkinson. But, listen, I don't, what was the other, I'm trying to think of what was the other playoff series we had with you guys. I know those are the two that I can remember. I'm not remembering the other one. Listen, I'm going to say this. We've owned your ass in recent years up until Kyrie. Kyrie was a big factor in why that you guys were owning us. Last night is Ed Malloy. Don't give me that crap. Like, you guys, seriously, we will kick your ass when we play you again. And it's a regular game. We will. Watch. You're going to see it. Kareem saying SGA playing very well. Maybe we should dress all our players in skims. I don't even know where that's coming from, Kareem. I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like a body suit or something. Skims? Is it like some like Spanx or something? I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Seymour saying no players to blame. It's Bobby's fucking Webster's fault. Get another fucking big. Pirtle can't guard teams 3 centers, and he ain't athletic. We need another big ASAP. Fuck. Webster, give your head a shake. All right, Seymour. I'm borderline giving you a strike because I don't think that's right. Once again, referees, huge factor last night. Paul B saying, I wish we could have seen what Koloko would have contributed this season. An insane amount of blocks, putbacks, and occasional 3 to space the floor. Yes, Koloko would be nice from Jimmy. Yeah, this is a real detriment to our team that Koloko's not available. We need our center. This is part of we don't have a lot of young players coming up because we don't have as many draft picks. And he's absolutely a key, essential person that we just drafted that we need to continue to develop. And this sucks. We're not getting any development from the 905, and our center, our backup center, is not getting developed this year so far. Koloko, just fucking get better, man. Seriously. Fiercely saying, I'd like to know how the plus minus or calculator established. Where can I find that info, fam? Well, I can tell you, Fiercely. The plus minus is just like in hockey. It's just like in hockey. Basically, the plus minus is they take into account all the points scored for both teams while that player's on the floor. And basically, that number is what the team scored against you or you scored. So let's take for example, Scotty. Scotty is a minus 22. So that means in the 36 minutes, Fiercey, while Scotty was on the court, the Nets outscored us by 22 points. That they net outscored us 22 points while Scotty was on the floor last night. That is exactly what that stat means. That means while on the court, the Nets scored 20. They outscored us by 22. They blew us out by 22 points in the minute Scott was on the court. That's very simply it, Fiercey. And in some ways, it's not a very scientific, completely tells the picture stat, but it does in some ways because it shows you who was around when we were losing the worst. In contrast, let's look at another guy. So when Chris was on the court for 12 minutes, we outscored the Nets by 8. Is what basically happened. When Jalen McDaniels was on the court for 13 minutes, we outscored the Nets by 2 points. And when Pascal was out there for his 35 minutes, we were outscored by 14 points. Pirtle, we were even. In the 25 minutes, it was a tie game by the end of Pirtle's numbers. So that's really what it is, Fiercey. It's whether we got outscored or we outscored them during the minutes. Minus 22 for Scott in the game last night, and a minus 22 in the game against Cleveland. And that's why I'm pointing it out that Scotty's inefficiencies and fundamental playing is adding up to losing because he has the worst plus minus on our team. And we're doing more losing with him around on the court right now. That's what it is. Seymour saying, like they ain't even telling us what's wrong with Koloko. It's really getting to me now. It's long COVID. It's long COVID. He has a problem with his lungs from getting COVID earlier this year. That's what it is. David's got Gary on blast. I like that. Gary, #1 star today. Cowboy saying, true Mountain Standard Time. That's right. Seymour saying, if we tanking, Bobby, let us know. We're not tanking. We're not trying to tank. Why do we get so confused? What's going on here? Seymour, do you understand what happened last night? The NBA has a Ocean's 11 grift going on with a Vegas tournament. And they had a storyline they had to fulfill, just like Vince McMahon books a match for wrestling. He needed to book the match. Ed Malloy was managing the game so that the Boston Celtics could get to the next round of the IST. The only way they could do that was us losing. If we had beaten the Nets last night, we would have killed the Celtics' chance in this tournament. So Ed Malloy was sent to this game last night to make sure the Nets would win. So he did all kinds of shady shit this whole entire game. I talked about it a lot earlier in the stream. And that is why we lost yesterday. So don't overreact to this. This was an NBA mandated scheduled loss because they want the Celtics in the next round of this in-season tournament. That's purely exactly what it is, Seymour. So don't overreact, bro. Nako's saying Malachi, Gary, and Koloko could have been a stellar bench core. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Oh my gosh. Come on, Koloko. We need you, bro. Seymour's got the mug, brother. Canadian cowboy. That's right. I love it. And there's Grady. And Jimmy's saying, I personally want Gary starting, but that's me. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think it matters either way. Gary's going to play the same way. He played great last night. And he came off the bench. It's not, he's going to play the same way. He'll get the same minutes off the bench or starting. It's just we need that punch off the starting line, off the backup lineup. We need more scoring on the backup lineup. He's one of our best scorers, so he needs to be there. Starscream saying, Lex, it's not that we aren't confident in our team. It's that Jacques Vaughn is our coach, and he's awful. Honestly, your team sucks, bro. You've got a lot of half-ass players. You don't have any superstars. Mikal Bridges is a role player. In some ways, he is not a full-fledged superstar. He's a great defender. He's got a lot of parallels to OG. But if OG's not a superstar, Mikal Bridges isn't a superstar either. That's what I'm going to say right now. Y'all don't have enough. And plus, that loser Ben Simmons is still holding up a huge part of your salary cap. You have no future this year. Y'all are going to be a 500 team or less. And in fact, we're going to pass y'all in the Atlantic Division soon. And I'd be surprised if you guys even get in the play-in by the end of the year. Seriously, y'all are not that good. Seriously, you're not that good. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on there. You think it's your coach, but it's not. It's your team is not that good. You just traded Hall of Famers and you got other guys on discount because you had to get rid of guys that just need to escape. And this team is not a good team overall. Your team has a lot of deficiencies. And I wouldn't believe in your team if I was a fan of your team. I would be like, I'd be more upset about y'all's team than I am about my Raptors. I'm not that upset about the Raptors. I see a bright future for us. I don't see jack shit for y'all. I see that y'all have a lot of problems. And in some ways, you're just very, very mid. There's a lot of midness about the Nets. And honestly, I'm going to say you bet right now, we're going to finish higher than y'all by the end of the year in the Atlantic Division. I know for sure that's going to happen. Jimmy's saying, dude can score 40. Nako's saying, Gary's starting quality, but I don't know who I put on the bench. Yeah, I don't know either, is what Jimmy's saying. I'm just saying he can play off the bench or starting. And in some ways, we need him more off the bench because we need more pep on scoring off the bench. So go where he's needed, not where vanity or like, oh, Gary should start because he just needs to start. Fuck that. The Raptors need him to come off the bench because we need his scoring off the bench. G saying, my dream would be Scotty and Pascal as forwards attacking the rim at will. Yak becoming like a Gasol role where he playmakes and attacks the rim. Teams collapsing, leaves OG and Dennis or Gary open for threes. Yes, that's what we're doing. G's describing what our plan is. It's just we need to do it more effectively. And a lot of it is already happening effectively. It's just we got to get it more often right. And in some ways, it's like, Scotty, you got to figure out your role and stick to it and stop fucking around with other dalliances with weird shit. Seymour saying, gee, that's a recipe to success right there. We're close. There's a lot of that is already happening right now. We could see Scotty and Pascal attacking the rim more often. That's an area that could improve. But Yak becoming like a Gasol role is already there. And teams collapsing and us kicking it out to those other guys, those opportunities are there already too. So it really is like Scotty and Pascal taking the mantle and running with it and trying to be more aggressive and causing more good things for other people. We stand around too much on offense and not cutting and causing movement off the ball. Well, that's another way we could improve also. We need that more too. Cowboys saying Gary is getting good minutes though already. That's right. He doesn't have to start and he can play 35 minutes and get a lot of time on the court and still play at the end of the game. It's not about starting. Y'all make more of a big deal about starting than it's important. It's more about how many minutes he plays and the time out there. All right, let's see. Starscream saying, Lex, we aren't in a position to overlook wins. We will take them any way we can. Get them. Laugh out loud. We don't own our first round pick this year. I don't want to give the Rockets another Jason Tatum. Listen, in that case, yeah, I'll root for you guys too because I don't want you guys would have to give something to the Rockets in your pick. Oh, yeah, because of the stuff with Harden. Yeah, okay. I mean, listen, we're the same way. We'll take W's as we can too. Honestly, we had one W recently that I'm like, yeah, I'll take that, Indiana. And in some ways, it's like, I'm with you on that. We're the same way with this. Listen, but it's true. The referees were helping y'all last night. You know they were. Come on. Starscream, I'm really happy you're back. And it's weird that you showed up all of a sudden. Like, we hadn't seen you all last year, really, at all. You were really here in the first year of my show. And it was kind of like when you guys had Durant and Harden and Kyrie still, and then that all just fell apart. We never really got to talk more since then. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, but if we keep losing, we got to change something. Well, it's the way we're losing. If we're closer and closer, I don't think we're going to keep losing though. We're this close. In some ways, we're like so close. We're right on the cusp of it. And if the referees weren't totally unfair towards us, we would be winning. Seriously, Jimmy, think about that. We would have won the game last night if the refs weren't biased. Seriously, I'm going to say that right now. We would have won that game last night against the Nets if the refs weren't biased and had a mandate to not let us win. Seriously, they try and stop us. That's why we have to be so much fucking better. Is because they are literally trying to hold us off from beating the Nets any which way they can. Whether it's feeding them extra free throws at the end of the game to make up a deficit to keep a lead on us, whether it's taking away blown calls where they don't give us a take foul that's obviously a take foul on Gary Trent. Like he should have gone to the free throw line. And then the goaltending calls, another very apparent example of them changing a call that Ed Malloy got right. A bad ref makes a good call. He goes and there's a challenge. And Secaucus tells him, no, you got to go against the Raptors. And challenge successful. In some ways, it's partly because they want Jacques Vaughn to continue to have a challenge for later, just in case. He loses that challenge with the goaltending call with Siakam. Then he loses his challenge for the whole rest of the game. And they didn't want that just in case Jock might need the challenge to help them manipulate the Nets to win. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it. If you look with your eyes wide open, you listen to Rasheed Wallace and what he's saying since he retired, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about right now. Let's see. Mischief saying, did anyone see a guy doing weird things when the Raptors were at the free throw line in the third quarter for us to miss shots? I ran 53 minutes, 17 games in a row while watching game on curved treadmill. That's awesome, Mischief. That's good workout. That's just like me, man. I'm going to be working out all day, getting ready for the Suns game. Yeah, that's Mr. Whammy. That's the super fan of the Nets, Mr. Whammy, wearing the Coke bottle glasses, going near, Mr. Whammy, doing his whammy. He's a long-standing Nets super fan, and he does that every single game for the Nets, and especially in a game like last night. So, yeah, they should know Mr. Whammy already. They've probably dealt with Mr. Whammy many times. He's not an excuse, just like DeAr DeRozan. He is not an excuse. Fiercely saying Precious literally gave the ball away. I mean, making a pass to the Nets, the jerseys are not the same, bro. He was lost. Precious is going to have bad games. And yeah, he stunk the bed last night. He was shitty. Yeah, I'll say it. Precious, you were shitty last night. Play better. Play better. Bryce is saying, and not owning that pick is very crucial, to be honest. Which pick? I'm not sure. You got to elaborate. Cowboys saying, if we do, I hope Gary and Precious and Boucher stay. I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Jimmy's saying, yeah, Bryce, especially if we had a bad season. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. I'll just gloss over it. Y'all need to be specific still. My brother's here. Carl Otts. Good morning, freaks. Good morning to you, Carl. I hope you're having a fantastic day in Atlanta. I miss you, man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys at the end of next month when you come for Christmas. I'm going to be so happy to see my brother and his family and my parents back up here in Toronto, hanging out here in the T-Dot. Back up here in Canada. I love you, Carl, so much. Tell the kids I love them too, and Sabrina also. Let's see. Cowboys St. Carl's in the house. Let's talk about the Suns. That's right. Trevor J saying we need a bench general and one more good three-point shooter. I think we need a backup point guard that's very, very effective. Another bench shooter. It could be that backup point guard. And another center would be good. Starscream saying Bryce Lawson. Yes, we aren't very good and have no incentive to tank. So every win we get is a worse pick for the Rockets. There you go. So in some ways, I will root for y'all, just so y'all don't help the Rockets more. Starscream, man, it's kind of fun to have you back. Of course, you're back after last night. Kareem saying, instead of wailing your arms for a foul, players should address it during a TV timeout. I'm sure refs would appreciate it more and will favor them next time for being mature about that situation. Facts. 100% from Seymour Pape too. Kareem, you're getting a dunk. The smarter, older players understand this. Like, Dennis has got gripes with the refs, but he's coming in and talking to them during free throws. He's coming over there and having little chats when there's a little breaks in the game, and he doesn't have a defensive assignment to get back to. There's the difference right there, Scott. You're emotionally reacting. We all know in the art of war, when you react emotionally, you lose. You have to be calm. And when you get that first initial chance to react, just process it first. I say this to everybody in their everyday life. When something weird happens or something fucked up, you need to maybe just sit there for a second and kind of sit in it and process it before you actually go off and do something and counter to it or react to it, because you may make that situation 100 times worse because of your reaction. And that's the whole lesson here, is that sometimes people will try you. Sometimes people will do fucked up shit. But if you don't react in that moment, it's sometimes the right decision. And then you come back and circle around for respect and say, hey, you know what? You should have called that. If you guys are going to call these fouls on this end of the court against us, you better be calling it when they hit us underneath the basket over there, too. And that's the simplest thing, is like somebody's shooting a free throw, just stroll on over and talk to Ed Malloy then, Scotty. In some ways, reacting in emotion in the moment is your worst enemy. And it's true in life too, in everyday life. You can fuck your life up if you react to some things. And it's the bait. They want you to react to it. So they give you a chance to fuck you up. It's just like a cop. It's like, you give me a reason. Sometimes they say with people that they want to arrest. It's like, give me a reason. Say something. Oh, yeah, do something. Yeah, give me a reason to put these handcuffs on you. Yeah, you don't want to give them a reason. And that's why you need to be cool and calm and collected. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Bryce is saying at Starscream, exactly. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. A top 6 pick would be beautiful. I'm not trying to get no person to save us in that kind of way, whether it's by trade or draft pick. The man who's going to save us is Scotty, and he's on the team already, and he's just on the rise. So I'm not looking outside to save us. That's one of the problems that Raptors Nation has, is they want somebody to just come in from the outside and save our team. No, fuck that shit. The people who are saving our team are on the team already, and they're going to get better. We're not going to save ourselves through a top 6 pick. We're not going to save ourselves by getting a Dame Lillard or something like that. We need to do it ourselves from within, and they're coming up. They're coming up. Trust me. Wayne's saying, I'm an apologist for Precious, but I can't defend his passiveness and lack of ability to just play basic basketball, then grow from there. I love our team, but the niceness to opponents drives me nuts. Yeah, Wayne's very tough, hard ass about, things like Nav and DR and stuff. And I like that. I'm an apologist for Precious too. I'm going to say he shat the bed last night. He had one of his worst games as a pro. How about that? I'll admit it. That he played really bad last night. Bryce is saying we need a Kentucky guard. I love that. You guys have a history of good guards. I would love that. Is there any good Kentucky guards coming up? Can we just change our farm team from the Raptors 905 to the Kentucky Wildcats? Can we just change that, NBA? Can we just say Kentucky Wildcats are now the G League team for the Raptors? And we're just going to take players from their collegiate team now. Please, can we do that? That'd be awesome. Kareem saying, G saying, I would love a Kentucky guard. The pedigree is real. Yeah, we respect the basketball that comes from your region, Bryce, and the smarts and the toughness and the tradition of the Kentucky Wildcats and their program. Kareem saying, every team in the NBA needs a player from Kentucky. I've been saying this. Man, we're really big on the Kentucky stuff. Kevin Thompson's here. He's saying Scotty is a point forward, not a point guard. There you go, Kevin Thompson. I'm with you on that. Point forward is fine. Scottie Pippen type player. Scottie Pippen stuff, but not a straight up point guard, guys. It's just, there is a differentiation. There is a slight differentiation between being a point guard and a point forward. And Scotty is a point forward, just like Kevin Thompson's saying. I agree with Kevin. And in fact, I'm going to give Kevin a dunk. There you go, Kevin. I see you on the list right here. You're getting your second dunk. Trevor's saying, getting back on defense is killing us. Guys are not paying attention. Yes, these are huge swings. And it happened in both the last two games. Starscream saying, I mean, a year or two at point guard might help Scotty in the long run. Remember, Jason Kidd had Giannis playing point early in his career, and now Giannis is comfortable pushing the break. Well, the weird thing is we don't need to develop Scotty to get him comfortable in pushing the break. He already does it. He already does the same thing that Giannis does in Milwaukee already. He doesn't need practice doing it. I have full confidence in Scotty taking the ball as a rebound and dribbling up the court himself without the ball touching Dennis or any other designated point guard's hands. That's not the issue here. The issue is in half court offense. Scotty can be a fast break, pushing the ball up the court with the ball in his hand anytime. I give him the green light on full court press, fast breaking, him leading the charge, and him passing and distributing or making the decisions. He has a green light with me on that. What I'm talking about is in half court offense. He should not be playing point guard duties in that situation. He can be a point guard and break in transition. He can be the guy bringing the ball up and doing the court vision that way. There's nothing wrong with him doing NBA Showtime, Magic Johnson style. That is not an area I want to take away from him. That is a strength. And he can do that Giannis stuff already. He doesn't need to perfect that. It's just that some people are trying to get him to do Dennis stuff in the half court when no, Dennis is the guy who needs to be doing the half court point guard stuff because he is a point guard and he knows how to do that stuff better. In some ways, it's timing. In some ways, it's smarts and veteran know how with personnel in the league. Scotty does not understand the other players and their pluses and minuses as well as Dennis. He doesn't have as much years in the league as Dennis, 10 years. And knowing each individual player and how you can get certain passes and things past people. Scotty has to learn all that shit. And there's a learning curve. And some of it is very much going to make us lose a lot. So in some ways, I kind of don't like him running point in half court. He can run point forward in transition and fast breaking. So let's see. Seymour saying the players are fine. I blame Bobby fucking Webster. All right, Seymour's going after the front office today. Smooth saying Dennis, Jakob are the only guys on the team with a high basketball IQ that can play extended minutes. Team is dumb for the most part. I don't totally agree with this. I think that the basketball IQs are high. It's just that they're young players that make mistakes. And in some ways, they're not playing clean, ethical basketball, and those mistakes look really bad. I think that you're right, that Dennis, Jakob, and Pascal are steadying players on our team as vets that when they're not in the game, I feel less confident in our team. When Dennis is out there, I'm like, okay, we're in good shape. We're going to run things right. When Jakob is out there, I have certain back of my mind feeling secure kind of things happening. When Pascal is out there, I have more confidence in our team in certain ways. When we're lacking any of those three guys on the court, that's when I feel like we're in trouble. That's when I feel like we're in the biggest trouble. And if it's even with just they did OG and Scotty with the bench lineup last night, and we were in trouble. We were in trouble. We lacked direction and we lacked somebody stepping up and kind of like running things the right way when we don't have Jakob, Dennis, or Pascal out there. Those three guys are essential for us to run correctly in a veteran sound way. And that is it's kind of what people have been saying here today. Let's see. Wayne saying on the defense side, OG is being used too much to defend opponent's best shooter. And then somebody else gets hot and his teammates don't cover that player. OG, Pascal, and Jakob can't cover everybody. This is a problem. Like letting Strus go off in the third quarter the other night, and then Royce O'Neal last night not getting found. That this is something I'm sure they're talking about. Why are these guys going off on threes on us? They're not main guys, and so the other people that are playing defense out there need to cover these guys and stay with them better. Royce O'Neal, maybe you let him try a couple because you're like, we don't really respect you as a 3-point shooter. But when he starts hitting them, he makes 3 of them. Well, you need to start really guarding him because he is hitting them that night. And that may be part of the problem. They were guarding Royce too casually and maybe running past him, like you guys keep saying too. Let's see. Jimmy saying, I mean, to be to be fair, kind of hard for Scotty to initiate offense when he can't get into the paint to dish off because the spacing is so bad. I mean, listen, there was that one moment where Scotty was like directing Malachi because he was just kind of standing around and then he moved and then he got that play to Chris that was beautiful. I think you're right in some ways that some of our players are not being intelligent with helping to create space for other players to do stuff because of where they're standing. And that needs to be cleaned up. And some of it is just knuckleheaded, like, why are you standing around? Or you're in this one spot. And it could be very well spacing. But in some ways also, I wish Scotty would just back motherfuckers down. Like just go down there and be a presence down there and just establish some physical positioning with the person, seal them out with your back and get that hand target so that somebody can throw the ball to you. There's not enough of that happening with Scott, in my opinion. We see Siakam get post ups, but I feel like Scotty needs to be getting more, just as many post ups as Siakam because he could be just as good in the low post as Siakam is. And I think that's where we're missing opportunities is we're not trying to post Scotty up enough. And really, that's just you can go down there and just get in there. It's not about him bringing the ball in there. It's about somebody feeding him the ball when he's already down in the position. So, yeah. Let's see. G saying Jimmy, he can't penetrate defenses and dribble out the doubles. It's a waste of time getting him bringing the ball down just to pass it off of the key. It's predictable, and that's partly why spacing is BS. Or bad. Um, what was I going to just say? Um, The one thing that's pissing me off with the Raptors is they're getting the ball into the lane in the paint, but then they're kicking it right back out to a three-point shooter really quickly when they had the paint presence and the high percentage shot down low. That's making me mad. We do such a good job of working our way in there into the fight into the paint, and then they kick it right back out. And maybe because they're partly collapsed on there. But I'm also seeing opportunities where they could just put the ball in. Like Jalen McDaniels got in the paint last night and he should have took a shot up, but he threw it way over the other side to Gary outside, and Gary wasn't totally open from three out there. I don't know. There's a lot of things with our offense in half court that needs to be figured out. That's maybe one of our biggest weaknesses is obviously that we don't run an effective half court offense. And we need to be more creative in how we get our half court offense going and freeing guys up off the ball. Jimmy's saying one shooter in the lineup is limiting our downhill finishers, and that's obvious that they can just pack the paint and build a wall like we did to Giannis. That's what creates our 5-minute droughts over and over again. I think there's a lot of truth to what Jimmy's saying here. The teams are not respecting our outside shot, and they do pack the paint on us. That's why we need to make our outside shot to make them pay for that disrespect. Raptors, make your threes, make your open shots so they can't pack the paint, and then we open things up again. Wayne's saying, yep, Scotty passes to Precious, and it makes Precious look worse. Darko is a good coach for this crew. They need to be finessed a lot. Issue with our mistakes is that they're basically the same. It's different. It's different. They're fine tuning it and they're gonna figure it out. And I like that you guys are saying that Darko's a good one to try and do this. Kevin's saying Scotty needs to watch more Jokic. I could get behind that. He's a good person for him to mimic. Carlos saying seeing shades of Nick Nurse hangover with the defense over helping on crunch time, leaving shooters open. Yeah. I mean, that's just these guys are overcommitting, like when they run by. Wayne's saying Scotty is not listening. He keeps complaining about non-calls and stops playing. Coaches must be telling him that. They need to get this message across to him. There was signs of this already in his first couple years in the league, and I was hoping he'd matured past this a bit, but it's rearing its head again. There's been periods of time where he has just shut up and played and ignored the refs and played through it. But for some reason, I guess maybe because of the stakes of the game or the way it was so egregiously against us, he really got mad and it took him out of the game. And that's a problem. He's got to be better mentally. He just has to. Nako saying Masai's keeping an eye out. I don't think he's decided what he's going to do. Yeah, this is for sure. In some ways, that may be part of the pressure these guys have. Is like in some ways it is a tryout, and he's trying to figure out the direction of our franchise. Masai may be making tough decisions based on how well these guys are doing what they're doing. Wayne saying Booker had someone ejected from a game. Do you see any Raptors players doing anything like that? My only criticism of this team is their aggression meter is just too low. Who's Charles Oakley here? Jakob. Jakob is a Charles Oakley. Oh, yeah, he puts people on their ass. In some ways, Scotty could develop into being more like Charles Oakley as time goes on. He has the right body for it. We'll see. We'll see. Jakob on the down low is really a strong physical presence that regulates things in a physical way for us, much like a Surge or a Mark would in the past. So, yeah, Jakob's one of the strongest people in the league. So he's definitely an enforcer for us on the down low, even though it's not solely, you just see a nice guy who misses free throws. No, Jakob's very mean, and he can get payback for us. Trust me. Blackhawk saying, big up the Raptor freaks. Big up to you, Neil. Shaq Lindsay saying, what's our Achilles heel? We don't have enough or any shooting. Flynn is not a backup. Our bench sucks. Precious after 3 years looks lost. Gary's inconsistent. Pascal is our number one, but doesn't play like it. And the fourth. These are kind of interesting criticisms. I'll agree with the first one. We don't have enough shooting or right shooting. I'll agree that Flynn is not a backup. I'll agree that our bench sucks. I won't agree that Precious after 3 years looks totally lost. I think that there's some games where he looks totally lost, like last night. But there's also some games where he just is really on top of things and he looks really good also. So let's not just paint him with a wide brush saying that's totally what he looks like right now after 3 years, because he has progressed and he has gotten better in the 3 years. Gary is inconsistent, and we'd like to see him be more consistent. But last night he was consistently good, and Pascal does shrink away from the big moments at the end of the game, and I wish he would. I wish he would take up. So those are some fair critiques. Blackhawks saying less turnovers, bench was productive. We had the same amount of made threes. Bottom line, we were competitive and we are improving. The wins will come. Once again, the only factor in this game keeping us from winning is that Ed Malloy was directed to make the Brooklyn Nets win at all costs. I'm telling y'all, this is a big factor. It was already preordained. They had decided, and I knew it as soon as I saw Ed Malloy in the ref report in the morning, and I knew the stakes involved the Celtics and whether they would continue in the IST. I knew the ref hit job by Ed Malloy. Usually he does it for the Celtics with the Celtics in the game. He has done this consecutively in 3 years now, where he's ref hit job us in a game this close to help the Celtics in some sort of way. This time it was against the Nets. He helped the Celtics, and it is very, very calculated. He did this shit to us in a game that I went to last year where we lost the Celtics by 2 points, where he very much manipulated things with ref calls to allow the team he wanted to win to win. And that is exactly what happened last night, y'all. You got to realize this. You got to realize this. The wins are going to come, and Blackhawks exactly right. We're competitive and we are improving. We just got to be perfect to win. Nako saying, let's go Indiana. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Pacers. I'd like to see them be a spoiler and beat the Celtics at home next Monday. That'd be fantastic. Go on, Pacer Nation. You got me behind you. I want y'all to beat the Celtics, please. Jimmy's saying we have players that have strengths that we're not playing into, or we just can't because of team limitations. Kind of like having a Mustang in the garage and you can't drive because you're missing a part. There's a little bit of truth to this analogy by Jimmy Pope. I'll agree with this. There's certain things that we're not completely unlocking to their full potential, partly because of personnel, but partly because we're just not ready in the development scheme of things. And a lot of it has to do with Scotty. Scotty is like a Lamborghini parked in a kind of a shitty yard, like I've seen on a meme on Twitter in the last couple of days. It's like Scotty with the bench is a Lamborghini parked in the ghetto, is what it is what they're saying. Well, I get that. And in some ways, this is true. There's a lot of Scott we need to unlock correctly, but it's on his development curve and his schedule. And it's frustrating because in some ways we could see Scotty could be better, but this is part of his own personal development journey. Is like having shitty games himself where he doesn't play exactly right. He has some good stats, but it's not adding up to winning. Well, he's got to make the connection of what it is in him that needs to click that adds up to the winning and the winning stuff instead of like losing. And some of it is getting back on defense. Some of it is being more careful with the ball. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, and we're putting too much expectation on Scotty, who was never a pure scorer in college, but we expect him to be here. Yeah, I mean, that's true. There are a lot of expectations on our team in general, and maybe individually on Scotty. That's why, in some ways, I'm okay with these losses because part of it is this is developing Scotty, and this will be good for us in the long term in the future. And that's in some ways, I'll take losses right now that are close and showing good development for lessons and for better winning in the future with Scotty being more capable and further down his development journey. So in some ways I get it. I don't want to put too much expectations on Scotty. I just want him to play clean basketball and smart basketball. That's all. And put in a good effort and maybe work on his body language and stop arguing with the refs. Fiercely saying, speaking of Kyrie, I loved how Jason Kidd put the reporter in his place yesterday. They always highlight negative and not the positive indeed. I don't know about this story at all. So I'm just going to move along because I don't know what Jason Kidd said. Carlos saying, Scotty already passing scoring expectations, though. But what we need him to do is be in the post and much closer to the rim before he shoots. Yeah, he can shoot occasional threes, but not rely on it. Yeah, he needs to mix it up. The threes are a great part of his game. Listen, I don't want to take anything that he's good at away. I'm just telling y'all the things that you think he's good at are not the right way for him to go. The things that he's good at that are awesome are the low post things, is the vision and open court and transition, is like now he's shooting threes way better. That's a strength. I don't want to take any of that away from him. I just want to build on the very good stuff that we're not going to as much. It is exactly what whatchamacallit said in their statement. Jimmy said, it's like we have this great car and we're not maximizing the potential of the speed and the things we could do with it because we didn't put a part in it and something like that. So I don't want to take away the good things that Scott does overall. I just want him to focus on certain ones more because that is where we'll get the best potential out of him. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying Scotty, Flynn, and Precious can't play together. I think this is true. At certain points last year, I was saying, yeah, we can't play Scotty, Coloco, and Flynn, or Scotty, Coloco, and Precious. There's just too much like not technically sound, like kind of fucking around, like mistakes, just like fundamental kind of fuckery. Between Coloco would have a rookie mistake, or Precious would do something like some of the stuff he's doing last night, or Scotty. So, in some ways, you're right. The Scotty Flynn Precious group is not like a one I have a lot of confidence in. Let's just put it that way. Carlos saying Darko already is fixing Flynn. Here's to hoping he can do the same thing with Precious. Yeah, I'm with that. Wayne saying, agreed, Shaq. They suck together. Yeah, I don't like that combination out there at all. I really don't. David saying, how many minutes have the three of them played together? I'm just curious. I don't know. And I don't have access to those kind of stats on the fly to just give you that, David. I'm sorry. PS Shooter saying, at Carlo, I don't think Precious can be fixed. Laugh out loud. I don't agree with that. I saw you going off on him on Twitter last night, PS. I saw you going off on him in certain ways. I mean, listen, yeah, we can be very critical of Precious right now. But the raw talent and the athleticism and the promise of this guy is too good to get rid of. I'm telling y'all, he can be fixed. And if anybody can fix him, it's Darko. G saying on another positive note, OG's mid-range shot looked good. Yeah. OG's a mixed bag. I wish he was more aggressive. I wish he would step up and be the guy. Cowboy saying, I'm with Jack on with the IST. What do you mean? That you don't like it? That you think it's kind of whack? What is Jack's opinion? He doesn't like how they get put through these games together all of a sudden. Monique, are you going to be able to go to the Miami game next Wednesday? Yeah, are you going to go to that game next Wednesday, Monique? Miami Heat coming to Toronto all of a sudden. As of last night, we're getting a Miami Heat game next Wednesday. Let's see. Scotty played on the perimeter because our paint is loaded with non-center pretenders like Precious and Chris. Well, these guys need to get the fuck out of there and step to the side, or just keep stirring the pot or move around, or just make things happen. One of the really cool things that we've saw with our offense has been very effective is OG going into the lane and he'll look crazy and kind of like out of control, but he comes in the lane and draws a lot of attention, and then he throws the ball out to like Gary or Scotty, and then all of a sudden you'll see them pass it to Siakam, and Siakam will go into the lane near where OG just went, but OG cleared it out. And Siakam has a much easier time scoring once OG kind of came through and kind of cleared it out. And then he can have room to operate that way. That's one way we can beat the packing of the paint is send a bull in there. Hopefully he does an offensive charge or turn the ball over, and it'll draw it and then kick it back out and then reset and have Siakam go immediately in after him. And he has a much easier time scoring. That we used that a couple times in the last couple games very effectively. And that's something I'd like to see more of. And it shouldn't necessarily be OG all the time. It could be Scott too. Scott goes through there, or even Dennis. He does that too. But he'll come in and he'll kind of go in just to stir up the middle of the paint, draw attention, and then they'll all collapse, and then he'll kick it back out, and then they'll go back out, and then it'll go to Siakam, and then he'll attack back in again. And the defense isn't totally set on the pack in the paint, and Siakam will get a successful score. So it's kind of like we got to send a run through, clear out the middle, and then send Siakam in there afterwards. It's very, very effective play. It's worked the last couple games. Let's see. Carlos saying OG should be the shooting guard position-wise and put Scotty at small forward. I agree with this. It's like OG plays more like a guard anyway. Let's see. PS Shooter saying, I don't see anything wrong with running up the score. It should be a normal thing. NBA games should be played from start to finish, blowout or not. It just goes against the old principle of like, look, in some ways it's like, don't make me look bad. In some ways it's like, come on, man, we're all friends here, but you're really making us look bad. You're humiliating us. You're embarrassing us. That's how the Bulls have felt in a couple games so recently. I get it. I'm with you. In some ways, it's like if this is going to be the code and the way the NBA is from now, and it's just how it's going to be, you'll accept it and it will get over this. And we'll be more like you, PS Shooter. In some ways, I don't mind doing this. Normalizing, running up the score and making this a big deal in the NBA, in some ways, I don't mind it. But it does show kind of like we're becoming a ruder society, and there's less honor in some of the old school ways of the NBA. But if that's the way that Adam Silver wants to transition the game or morph it or evolve it, so be it. He's in charge. He has to. We have to play by his rules, unfortunately. And if that's the way the future's going to be, well, old head, you got to just get with the program. It's running up the score is a new flavor in the NBA. Shaq Lindsay saying Jakob free throw percentage is better than Precious's. Well, recently, that's for sure. Yeah. Kareem saying, is Pascal has the most points in the paint in the NBA and Jakob has the highest shooting percentage? Shouldn't we be getting a style of compliments a style that complements that type of play? I'm with that, Kareem. I'm with that. I mean, feed what's working, right? David's laughing or smiling, fiercely saying, does anyone else see? Yeah, I don't see those numbers. You got it on yours. I've actually seen similar numbers in many videos I watch. So maybe it's me. Yeah, you might have a virus in your computer because mine does not say that many. Carlos saying we are 6-0 when Pascal makes a three. Now, that's an interesting stat. Well, Siakam, make some more threes. Jeez. Holy crap. Make some more threes. Please make some more threes. All right, jumped ahead. Let me get back. And yeah, we'll do a cutoff soon. G saying, isn't there a hack a Shack rule? No, there's no rule about it. You can do it all you want. We did it last night. We were doing hack a clack. Claxton. That's why Jock Vaughn had to take Claxton out at the end of the game because we were doing a hack of Claxton. It totally works. They did it to Drummond last night. They were hacking Drummond on purpose. And yeah, it's just they'll do it to Jakob. This is part of the reason why some people are critical. Why didn't Jakob play at the end of games? Well, part of the reason is they'll do a hacky yak. And we don't want that. In some ways, they will foul Jakob on purpose because they know he's likely to miss at least one of the shots for sure. So in some ways, we can't play Jakob at the end of games, even though some people have been crying out for it because they want it defensively. Why isn't Jakob out there at the end of the game? Well, because of hack-a-yak. That's why. And it's a real strategic thing in that way. And that's why Gary will end every game instead of Jakob, because Jakob is a detriment at the end of the game. It's just it's part of the package with him. A hacky-yak is still legal. Shaq saying, please, Masai, trade Flynn while he's hot. We need a backup point guard. I'm with this. David's got a fish. That's interesting. Carlos saying, I don't know if we have any takers for Flynn. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I think he just has to be packaged with maybe like Thad. You put Thad and him in a package. Maybe that's attractive to somebody who's just trying to get something going with their salary cap in a certain way. Bryce is saying, guys, before he reads my Zach LaVine comment, just know it was a joke. Spare me. Okay, that was a joke. Okay. I didn't key on that too much. It was funny. Okay, so you did see a stat line too. Because I was like, whoa, Zach LaVine played really bad for the Bulls last night. Let's see. Country Conks here. Good to see JP. You're still in the in-season tournament. Sacramento winning last night. This could still be yours, John Paul. You might still win the Trevor J Challenge. Let's see. Good morning, Raptors Freaks. Lex, every day I work hard defending Malachi in spaces. Last night in the fourth quarter, I found myself hoping that Malachi could finish the game for us. He hit a huge three. I was hoping for this too. I thought that he could have been fruitful late in the game because he was playing very well yesterday. And I appreciate you fighting the good fight for Malachi, even though I'm down on him all the time. I am always happy when people like us are being positive for the team no matter what. Seriously, there's so much negativity out there. I know I can be negative too. We all can be negative. But we want a higher percentage of trying to be optimistic and working towards good and planning towards good things. A pessimistic mind will only see the bad stuff and have no solutions for how we get out of that bad position. Now, some of us will have an optimistic brain, but we can see the critical stuff that we need to be criticizing also. And we are trying to build and create and grow instead of kind of like putting down and wither and take away. Like some people that when they talk about the team, that's the difference right there. Wayne saying, I don't know, Lex, when you don't cover and leave open a known three-point shooter, you can't blame the referees. Royce killed us last year too with Kyrie. Our team just requires lots of mentoring. Yeah, I can get behind that last part. Well, honestly, Wayne, we know that the league told Ed Malloy, make Brooklyn win at all costs. We know that. I know that for a fact. If Rasheed Wallace gets the hacker and he taps in and they go and look at the emails, and the email Ed Malloy got yesterday was make sure Brooklyn wins at all costs. That's the email he got from the head office of the NBA for what the mandate of what Adam Silver wants. Make sure Brooklyn wins at all costs. And there's a reason why Ed Malloy or Tony Brothers was at games, is they want to make sure the Celtics win in that in-season tournament game against us, and they want to make sure that Brooklyn wins in that in-season tournament game. I mean, we can go over all the reasons why we could be better and perfect things, and we need mentoring for, but that is just the pure damn truth. The NBA wanted Brooklyn to win no matter what last night. That's just the damn truth. Kevin's saying, I would rather have Durant play. Don't want a fake win. I'm all right with that. You know, Durant shows up. Sometimes we do better when he's playing. Either way, we'll have to do injury checks all afternoon and see what the news is latest out of Suns camp as far as who is exactly going to be playing for them tonight. Let me go look at it again. It could have changed even while we were just talking. It's like that sometimes. Let me just see if it's changed a little bit. No, it's the same. It's still Durant and Allen are both questionable. Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant questionable. Nasir Little and Bradley Beal out. So there's a couple players that are out for sure. No Bradley Beal for sure. Let's see. Mugarbe saying Lex Darko is for development and not winning. He's for both. He's going to try and do for both. G saying development is ugly and until it's not. That's right. Mugarbe saying Lex Scotty's playing real bad. He's minus 22 in 3 games in a row. Was he minus 22 in the other game too? Yeah, he is playing bad. On the down low, he's playing bad. His stats look good in some ways. His shooting's not very good. His scoring's down, and he's not playing good fundamental basketball. Fierce is giving me a cutoff. I like that. Shaq Lindsay saying Darko needs to really sit down with Precious and teach him the game. All the athletic ability, but no intelligence when it comes to the game. I don't agree with this. There is a certain level of intelligence with him, but every player makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And some days you're going to have a bad day, and some days you're not. Precious is a very good player. He's a lot better than you guys are giving credit. I'm going to continue to apologize for him. Carlos saying, laugh out loud. Shaq Lindsay, they probably have one-on-ones with him every day. Yeah, they're getting the workout. They're figuring it out. They're going to figure it out. Shaq Lindsay saying, we expect Scotty to play in the post, but when there's Chris and Precious in the post and Flynn is on the perimeter, what choice does he have? Get those motherfuckers out of there. Precious and Chris can shoot on the outside. They can get out of there. It's really just, it's not that the spacing's bad partly because these players aren't playing smart and thinking about where they could help each other, cause a space to open up. In some ways, I hate that. It's like, I wish y'all were more in tune and understanding disposition of weak side and strong side. And when you do this motion, you're going to draw these people away, and this person can be more wide open over here. There's not enough really smart thinking this out or doing it. It's really kind of like they're playing through the motions and not thinking cerebrally about their movements and how they can add up to helping each other get more open shots. That's part of the problem right there. And in some ways, if they're not listening to Darko and how he's trying to teach them to do that, you need to listen. The other thing is, if y'all aren't moving enough on your offensive side to cause a generation of open shots, that's a problem too. If you're lazy and standing around watching the offensive set instead of in movement with your body, that is part of the problem right there. Wayne's saying, I'm just a fan, but at the OVO during practicing free throws, DeRozan's daughter screaming would be what should be playing in the background. That's going to get a dunk right there. That's sound and smart. And maybe we can get a cutout or somebody to act like Mr. Whammy and have him stand underneath the goal too. We'll have the screams and the whammy guy standing there. I don't know. Either way, these guys just need to get better at free throws as the season goes on. They have a very bad place right now. You better show improvement as time goes on, Raptors. Country Kong saying, well, on a positive note, McDaniels can play defense. I'm wondering if he could have slowed down Garland. Hope he continues to see minutes. Good to see Gary get it going. Darko's still figuring out rotations. I was surprised to see McDaniels in that game over Otto Porter Jr. And in fact, I will make this criticism of Darko. It's like, dude, you're in a high-stakes game, and you need to play your vets. And in some ways, I wish Otto Porter Jr. had gotten that slice. But in some ways, I'm glad that Jalen got to play because he got some good, confident things that happened for him last night. And that's good. Jalen McDaniels in 13 minutes, 5 points, 2 of 4 from the field. He hit his only 3-point attempt, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block. No turnovers, a +2. Yeah, Jalen was a net good on our team. And, man, he played a lot more cleaner, and he contributed in a couple different ways. I like what Jalen McDaniels showed last night. That's a confidence builder right there. Carlos saying, if McDaniels can positively contribute every game, this team is going to be so good. He can very much help us for sure. Shaq Lindsay saying trade Gary Trent while he's hot. Remember, Gary is good for 1 or 2 out of 10 games. That may be a smart strategy. Maybe Bobby's taking calls for Gary right now. Who knows? That may be smart. Actually, you're right. Wayne's saying that's the point, Lexicon. Who's taking score against our opponents? Who's the guy? Who is the Kyle Lowry or Charles Oakley? Can't continue losing or being lackadaisical. We're not being outplayed. Well, hopefully it's Dennis. I've seen signs on his YouTube content that he's remembering, like, oh, the last time we played Chicago, I hated it. This is what he said before our in-season tournament game last week against Chicago. He said, we were embarrassed the way we lost to Chicago in overtime the first time we played them this season. And I remember it. And that's part of the reason why I want to get up and go beat the Bulls. Well, in some ways, that's what we need to look for, Wayne, is when we get to return to play against the Cavs on New Year's Day, when we get to play the Brooklyn Nets again, let's see if these guys have a different output or way they approach the game, and they really want it more because they have get back revenge they want to get. That's the only way we can gauge this is the way they play them when they meet them again. And Chicago, we got that test in the in-season tournament last Friday, and we kicked their ass, partly because they embarrassed us in the first game of the season and also partly from the play-in tournament last year. So, yeah, that's what we got to look for, Wayne. That's the sign. And I know Dennis is talking about it from behind the scenes, and hopefully his voice as a leader on this team is making it aware to the other guys and saying, look, we lost to Brooklyn last night, or when we play them again, we need to get that get back. We need to be thinking about our season series with Eastern Division opponents and whether we're winning our season series against Eastern foes, because this matters for playoff seeding. So it's like orient it, the young guys who maybe not taking things as seriously, and talk to them and say, this is why this matters, Scotty. This is the gravity of this. Last time we played them, we were humiliated, and we shouldn't have lost this way. Do you care about that? Do you want to make up for it in this next game? In some ways, it's how you got to say it. Maybe Coach Darko is very much keeping track of this also, and put it in their faces on game days also. Remember when you played Chicago and you lost in overtime and how humiliating that was. Go beat them today. You know, that we'll see it, Wayne. When we come back around, we play Cleveland and Brooklyn again, and even Philly and Boston. We got these teams get back also. We really do. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. I respectfully disagree as well. Scotty is not the issue. It's turnovers and missed free throws. Free throws, definitely a problem. The turnovers, definitely a problem. Scotty's a part of the turnover problem, though. But the free throws is a lot of them. I mean, all right, we can disagree on this, Infamous. I'm coming down hard on Scott because I see his plus minus and I see the mistakes in the game. I see him getting out of the game mentally because of the refs. Kareem saying sometimes it feels like our players are jacks of all trades, but master of none. Jakob and Dennis know their roles. Other than that, Darko needs to assign players to their roles. Yeah, this is similar to some of the things we were saying last year, Kareem. It's too ambiguous what different Raptors should be doing what jobs. And nobody's actually taking job titles and becoming role players in certain roles. In some ways, we're having some of this grow more. I'd say Chris Boucher steadily has known his role all last season and this year, and he plays to it. You know, Jakob and Dennis definitely know their roles right now. In some ways, OG is starting to know his role, is becoming more shaped. Siakam and Scotty, well, what's y'all's roles? And what do y'all want to be exactly as top players in this league? Siakam, kind of, we know your role, but Scotty's very ambiguous, and he has a couple different directions he can go in. Yeah. And the other thing is we need these bench guys to carve out consistent roles that they contribute night in and night out. And they're not doing that either. So that's part of being a role player is, first of all, knowing your role, like The Rock would say, and also consistently doing your role night in, night out. And Chris Boucher is a good example of somebody who knows his role, and he does it night in and night out. We need more people to be like him. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, again, I will say Scotty, Precious, Flynn, and Chris can't play together. Yep, you said it, and it's noted, and I agree. Kareem saying, we need one of these reporters to stick a mic in Coloco's face and start asking some fucking questions. We can't be left out in such mystery. It's just long COVID. It's just what it is. Fiercey saying, thank you for the explanation on the plus minus. You're welcome, Fiercey. If there's anything I'm going to do right here, I am going to go ahead and illuminate and educate. if I can. Blackhawks saying, damn, Lex, that's a heavy conspiracy. Oh, yeah. Ocean's 11 shit. This whole tournament. It's funny that they made the ad with Draymond as the security guard and Kawhi in the kitchen on the phone. It's just like that. It's an inside job with a lot of moving parts and different ref crews in different cities. Yeah, it took a lot of work for them to get the Celtics into the next round last night, and they did it to a T. Perfect. They're Hannibal from A-Team right now. They love it when a plan comes together, is how they're feeling about last night. Yeah, that's a heavy conspiracy. Go listen to Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells and some of the former players that are blacklisted that nobody in the NBA wants you to listen to. Go listen to them. They'll tell you the truth. G saying, the Wagner brothers, Sengun and Wemby came in with great fundamentals, and it's translating. And the Thompson twins also. I've been super impressed with the Thompson twins. They have very good fundamentals themselves, too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You come in with fundamentals and good play, those guys are foreigners. That's why you mentioned them, because they learn from Germany. And Sengun, I don't know where he's from. Antarctica, like a penguin. He's from Penguin. What? And Wemby, yeah, of course, French. Yeah, that's part of it. Shaq Lindsay saying, I have a feeling that Zach is going to be traded to Toronto. You've been bringing this up. I might as well change your name to Zach Lindsay, the way you talk about Levine so much. Masai was willing to trade for Dame. What makes you think Zach is not a possibility? Zach is similar to Dame, just younger. We went over this ad nauseum. Shaq Lindsay, review other streams where I've gone over the 3 main reasons why we don't want Zach LaVine on our team and why it probably won't happen. $40 million is the number one reason right there. Fiercely saying at Mischief, yeah, we saw him. We still need to work on our mental and focus, Mr. Whammy. What a weird guy. What a weird guy. Wayne Strainer saying, Lexicon, you're absolutely correct. We will finish higher than the Nets come March, and the Nets suck. That's why we shouldn't lose to them. Referees are not. When we lose to a better team, I concede. The stakes are just too high. There's no way Adam would allow them to lose last night. There was no way. And we crumbled at the wrong time. Sure, we could have gone in against the script and made it different, Wayne, but we didn't have enough. We have to be that perfect. And we have to execute and convert that well in the end of the game, when it's close, when it's still close, we have our chance. We have to convert. We have to execute, and we did not. And that's where we lost, is we didn't convert and execute in the chances that we had. And it's just an uphill battle. It's very much an uphill battle. We got to be that much better. That's that much better. Shaq Lindsay saying there will be a discount on Zach, 50% off. It's not like they slash his contract in half and he's like 20 million. Oh, you can trade him for 20 million. No, to get him here, we're going to have to trade 40 million of our contracts. And that means like trading one of our main guys. And that doesn't make any fucking sense. Infamous is saying those laughing Lex called the game exactly how it would go yesterday with the refs. So I believe in this conspiracy. I'm telling you, it's just too perfect what happened for the Celtics yesterday. And we know they want the Celtics and the Lakers involved. Their wet dream, once again, is the Celtics versus the Lakers at the end of this tournament. That is their ultimate wet dream. If you see the Celtics versus the Lakers at the end of the in-season tournament, know that this is booked just like Vince McMahon and WrestleMania. Just know that. Seriously, know that. Know that. Shaq Lindsay saying, did someone other than me say Zach? No, I think that you're the only one who really brings him up all the time at this point. Starscream saying, well, yeah, Lex, we played all 4 games last year in the first 2 months, and then we ended up getting a brand new team. Laugh out loud. That's right. You guys, we had the misfortune, once again, of having to play all of our Nets games when y'all still had Kyrie. And that killed us. I hated the fact that we played both New York teams, all of our games before New Year's. We were done with the Knicks and the Nets by New Year's Eve last year. That was so screwed up, and it really was fishy to me, honestly. But yeah, you guys, we didn't get to see the different version of y'all at the end of the year last year after the trades. And in some ways, I wanted to see us against that Nets, and we did kind of see it last night. Shaq Lindsay saying, although Zach scored 2 points last game, he still scored more points than our entire bench in the last 3 games. That's not true. Wayne saying, we're home. Let's defend and respect our home. No more losses for this week. The actual point is we're making the same mistakes by the same players. I welcome our failures when we are learning. So he wants to see the same mistakes go away. He wants to see us learn and fix them and show progress in that. I agree with that, Wayne. I'm with you on that. Some of the same mistakes are dumb and they're needless. They don't need to happen, and we need to clean them up. Yeah, I'm with this too. I'm going to win tonight against a team that most people think they're going to kick our ass. We could get a surprise win against the Suns tonight. That'd be badass. And then, oh yeah, I'd like to beat another team that's going to the next round of the in-season tournament, the New York Knicks, on Friday too. Yeah, yeah. Let's beat a couple of in-season tournament teams in the final 8 tonight and Friday. Let's beat both those orange teams. That's right. Seymour saying, remember when Booker got our mascot kicked out of our own home arena? Man, things need to change with this team ASAP. Defend home base at all costs. Yeah, I remember that. It's funny. Wayne saying, love Jakob. High IQ, efficient, productive, hard nosed. Nothing to complain about our center. Just need a clone. Yeah, maybe a better 3-point shooting center behind him. That would be good. Seymour saying, I hope Fiercely gets the cup. Yeah, you want Phoenix to win? Seymour's going for Phoenix for Fiercely to get this. That'd be fun. We'll see. I'm really kind of going for Country Kong. I'm going for Country Kong, and I'm going for Paul B. I kind of want Adrian to win it. I kind of want Adrian and Giannis and Dame Lillard to win the in-season tournament. I kind of do, because in some ways I know they don't want that. I really do. I think Milwaukee's like us, that they're annoyed with Milwaukee to a degree, and they don't like a small market team like Milwaukee being prominent and winning a lot. So any way that either Sacramento or Milwaukee can win the in-season tournament, I'm all about that. I do not want New York, the Lakers, or Boston to win. I do not want those 3 teams to win. I'm okay with most of the other teams. Phoenix, I'm okay with them winning too. Wayne saying, good stream, Lex. It's not down on our team. Hang on. Here it is. Good stream, Lex. It's not down on our team, but these 2 losses are similar, and that's not good. Royce and Garland are getting off on us in crunch time. Yeah, I mean, they're learning, and they are what they are. Whatever. In some ways, I wish we could have them back, and we were 12-6 right now, but we're not. It's just what it is. Fiercely saying, yes, Seymour, thanks. Yeah, she wants Phoenix to win, of course. OG executing what he learned at Chef Curry's summer camp. Okay, Seymour saying, maybe we have had one center since October. Maybe Bobby will get us a Christmas present soon. Fingers crossed. I hope so too. Monique has retracted his statement. Wayne Strainer saying, the way we shoot free throws, our entire team is prone to hack a shack. We're shooting close to 60% from my non-statistical eyes. Yeah, other teams can hack the hell out of us because we don't make them pay at the line. And Seymour saying 100%. Trevor's saying, let's make it right, Raptors, tonight. Let's go. Yeah. Super fan saying, let's stay focused tonight. I'll bring the energy to the arena. You go down there and bring good luck, Monique, and get loud, and hopefully the Raptors will win. Seymour saying, question at Trevor J. Where did you get this trophy from? I don't know. He's on a website, and he saw it, and he's like, man, I want to send this to Lex because I feel like this is something he would want to give somebody on this channel. So he's like, he just bought it, and then he UPS'd it or sent it in the mail to me, and it came in the mail, and I opened it up, and I was like, what is this? And then I got my wheels turning, and I was like, well, what could I give this for? Well, there is an in-season tournament coming up. And then we devised the whole plan of this contest, Trevor J and I. So, yeah, he just sent it to me. I was like, well, what could I give this for? I was like, well, let's do an in-season tournament contest. And that's what Trevor J wanted me to do. So that's what we're doing. Let's see. I think he got it off a website somewhere. I'm not sure. Maybe he can share that with you. Wayne saying Darko is such a good coach. I would love to play for him. McDaniels must be feeling better now today. We are good freaks. Development looks like this. As an apologist for Precious, he's not a center. Yeah, he's not a center. That's part of the problem too with Precious is he's played out of position, and that puts him at a detriment to a degree. Kareem saying still advocating and hoping Gary gets the chain tonight. That'd be awesome. He might have gotten the chain if we'd won last night. Seriously, maybe he needed to hit the big shots late. Fun Guy's here. Good to see Fun Guy. He's still in the in-season tournament with New Orleans Pelicans as your team, Fun Guy. I picked you for New Orleans because New Orleans is a Fun Guy kind of place. So the Pelicans are in the final 8. So if they win, this is your trophy, big guy in Mississauga. That's right. You're still in there. New Orleans Pelicans have to win, though. He's saying Gary Precious, Malachi Thaddeus, and maybe a bit more can get a Levine trade done and even keep Boucher. You know, I don't know if I want to trade Precious, though. Seriously, in some ways, I'd rather keep Precious over Chris. I'm being honest. Most saying, shut up about Zach. Seriously. I'm going to give Monique a dunk for like being so sick of the Zach LaVine trade talk. She is so sick of it, y'all. Y'all just pissing her off with all that fucking Zach LaVine trade talk. You really are. I'm with her though. I'm with her. I'm kind of sick of talking about him too. Let's see. Fun guy saying, I don't think you have to full cover the 40 million salary too. By the way, I think there's a percentage. You might be right. Kareem saying our mascot will get a technical tonight. Devin will cry for this. All right, I know you're trying to be funny, but I'll give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you because it is kind of funny what you said. Dana's got the Raptors up there, and Monique's saying, W stream, Lex, keep at it. Always stay positive. Go Raptors. All right, right at 3 hours. Let's just do a real quick wrap up in a minute and a half, real quick. I appreciate everybody being here with me the whole time. Injuries for tonight for the Suns. Nasur Little is out. Bradley Beal is out. Damian Lee is out. Grayson Allen and Kevin Durant both questionable. On our side, it's just Koloko. It's just Koloko. The referee crew is Bill Kennedy. Is the crew chief. We like Bill Kennedy, karaoke superstar. He's our crew chief. Mick Bookert is the second ref. He's the most favorable ref for the Raptors. And then Danica Mosier, one of the worst refs for the Raptors, but she's also 0-3 reffing the Suns. So they've never won with her around. So that's our ref crew, a much better ref crew than yesterday. Let's just put it that way. And hopefully that, they'll be very fair and the Raptors will have a good chance to try and win tonight, unlike last night. Honestly, they did not have much of a chance to win last night. It was really tough. Tough loss to the Brooklyn Nets in the in-season tournament. We're 1-3 in our first year in the in-season tournament. I hate that. Stars of the game for me, Gary Trent Jr., Dennis Schroeder, and Chris Boucher were our best guys. As I said earlier, there are 2 games that were added to our schedule last night. Next Wednesday on the 6th, the Miami Heat will visit Toronto here at Scotiabank Arena, 7 o'clock tip. And then on Friday, on the 8th, the Raptors will be traveling to Charlotte to play the Charlotte Hornets. The way that we ended the in-season tournament calculated who we were going to play next week. And we're playing Miami and Charlotte from the other 2 groups. And the way they finished, that is how they figured it out. So every single game and everything mattered, even if we were eliminated, because it determined that we got a game against the Hornets in their arena. That's awesome. And I'll take Miami here in Toronto on Wednesday too. Yeah. So there's a little bit more information there. Kareem saying, instead of flying by these 3-point shots, how about set a precedent and hack a shooter so they will think twice before just letting it fly? Kind of like hitting a quarterback, taking a penalty early. I see what you're saying, your strategy there. Make them think twice. Well, in some ways, that's what the other teams do to us, and with the refs a favor of looking the other way. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. ESPN power rankings are out. We're sticking to 22. We have not moved up or down. We're 22 in the ESPN power rankings currently as of this morning. All right, y'all. Real quick, the main event marquee matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scotiabank Arena. Tonight, we are going to have a straight-up fist fight, a grudge match between 2 men who absolutely hate each other and really just need to get this settled. Right now, coming out in the corner of the orange and purple for the Phoenix Suns, the lover of one of the Kardashians, the Jenners or whatever the fuck, Devin Booker, and his opponent in an MMA first blood to the death matchup is the very valiant and important number 95 for the Toronto Raptors, long-standing since the very beginning of the franchise, the Raptor. Who's going to win in this grudge match in the octagon of death between Devin Booker and the Raptor? We will find out next time, the marquee main event matchup. All right, Trevor J. saying, Seymour, I might get sued for sure. Trophy files. I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is the Trevor J. Cup. Somebody going to get this next week. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all so very much. Thank you for watching me. Stay positive, Raptors fans. We're still on the right track. It may look confusing and upsetting and annoying, and you hate losing, but honest and true. Remember, a lot of our losses this season have been scheduled losses by the NBA. They want to hang these L's on us. And the fact that we have wins and we are close to 500 is an accomplishment in itself, with so many things working against us. And don't get it twisted. The NBA was going to have the Brooklyn Nets win that game no matter what, one way or another. They would have egregiously cheated us to make sure that they won and help the Celtics get to the next round in the IST. That's just how it is. Tupac saying Raptors are getting a W tonight. I love that. Back from the grave. We heard it from the grave of Tupac. that we are winning tonight. And I will take that all day long. Let's go, Raptors!